What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
3SG. Chapter 48 Espadano.09, Geronio. System, consume all reputation points and recruit heroic troops. With a buzz, the space in front of Uzumaki Chihiro suddenly shattered. A humanoid creature wearing a white robe that covered his whole body, white gloves, and a long mask with holes on his head appeared. Ding, congratulations host, recruiting the heroic soldier Araniero Arurueri. Open black lens bracket Araniero Arurueri close black lens bracket. Strength. Captain level. Position. One of the Arankar Legion Espada, number 09. Ability. Returning blade Shu Shu. Espada no .09, see your majesty. Araniero Arurueri. Uzumaki Chihiro echoes his abilities in the original work, and his octopus appearance can easily cause discomfort to others. Without talking nonsense to him, he was given the task of temporarily commanding Haweko Mundo, and Uzumaki Chihiro sent him to Haweko Mundo. After recruiting troops, the previous mission of recalling the Uzumaki clan is almost completed. In addition to the Uzumaki clan that can be traced in the original work, there are also some scattered Uzumaki clan that have not appeared in other original works. After taking back the Uzumaki clan members, Uzumaki Chihiro also received relevant rewards from the mission. Every time you recall an Uzumaki clan, you can get a Shinigami job transfer scroll. Judging from the name, it should be an item that allows people to change jobs and become a Shinigami. But now that he has the Spiritual Arts Academy, he can produce Shinigami arms independently, and he doesn't know what the scroll does. Uzumaki Chihiro specially took out one and glanced at the introduction. Shinigami Job Transfer Scroll. It is an item that can change the job of a human with a physical body in this world into a Shinigami. Close black lens bracket. In other words, is this a tool for people who are still alive to change their job to Shinigami? That's okay. It can be used by members of the Uzumaki clan who want to become Shinigami. Of course, in the future, when there are humans who want to become citizens of the Kingdom of Whirlpool, it can also be used on them. After all, Rukongai only has a 50% chance of absorbing souls. It's impossible for Uzumaki Chihiro to let someone who wants to become a Shinigami commit suicide. What if you are not attracted to Rukongai? It's just that there aren't many of them at the moment, and if they are used, they must be given to people with good potential to use them first. At this moment, Rukia Kuchiki suddenly walked in, lowered his head and said, Lord Soul King, the 10th Division captured 3 Cloud Shinobi teams during patrol. Cloud Shinobi. Uzumaki Chihiro's eyes turned cold. Before the matter in the country of Whirlpool was settled with Cloud Shinobi Village, he still dared to come to the country of Whirlpool to cause trouble. Did the interrogation reveal their purpose? Yes, according to Division 9's interrogation, their target is the Uzumaki clan. A flash of surprise flashed in Uzumaki Chihiro's eyes. Isn't this sense of deja vu the scene in the original novel where Cloud Shinobi Village sneaks into Konoha to rob Uzumaki Kushina? The only difference is that in the original work, Cloud Shinobi almost succeeded. The country of Whirlpool is not as troublesome as Konoha. Cloud Shinobi was discovered and arrested by the patrol guards of Division 10 as soon as he entered the country. That afternoon, the Uzumaki kingdom hung the Cloud Shinobi at the city gate and questioned Cloud Shinobi Village in a high-profile manner. After Third Raikage received the news, he was very calm. Kaido, those people are the rebellious ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village. I, Cloud Shinobi Village, do not know about sneaking into the country of Whirlpool. Uzumaki Chihiro sneered when he heard this answer. The shamelessness towards Raikage is also expected. After all, in the original work, the shamelessness of Cloud Shinobi Village is also vividly reflected. However, today's Whirlpool country is not the easy to bully Konoha in the original work. We just recently recruited elite troops and heroic troops from the Haweko Mundo camp, so let them teach Cloud Shinobi Village a lesson first. Of course, Uzumaki Chihiro also understands that just relying on the current strength of the Hollow is not enough to destroy the Kingdom of Thunder, the second most powerful country in the ninja world. But he didn't want to let these Shugen bring down the Kingdom of Thunder. Let them go to the Land of Thunder to cause trouble first and teach Cloud Shinobi Village a lesson. Next, the focus of the country of Uzumaki will be on Uzumaki Kushina. No one from the Whirlpool country can be left behind. After bringing Uzumaki Kushina back, it's time to completely settle things with Cloud Shinobi Village. Give the task of the Kingdom of Thunder to the newly recruited Araniero Arurueri and let him lead the team to the Kingdom of Thunder to give them a little virtual shock. Then he asked Rukia Kuchiki to arrange someone to send a notice to Konoha. Let them send Uzumaki Kushina back safely and intact. Otherwise, the country of Whirlpool can only pick it up in person. Haweko Mundo. Araniero Arurueri smiled and said, Oh, as soon as we came out, His Majesty arranged work for us. Araniero Arurueri suddenly said in another voice, The king really loves us so much. Ilfert, count some hollows, let's go to the Kingdom of Thunder to have some fun. Ilfert Glanz curled his lips in displeasure. Before that, he was the boss of Haweko Mundo, dominating here. As a result, he has now transformed into a younger brother. But he also understood that the guy in front of him was indeed stronger than him. I can only accept my fate. Soon, the virtual ones gathered in front of Araniero Arurueri. He smiled softly, the space in front of him shattered, he opened his dark voice, raised his arms and shouted, Young children, come with us. Then he took the lead and stepped into the dark cavity. The Land of Thunder. A black hole suddenly appeared in the sky. The busy people stopped, stared at the black hole in the sky and pointed. What's going on? What is that thing in the sky? FK, why is there a hole in the sky? It always feels dark, it's definitely not a good thing. Soon, under their gaze, a man wearing a long iron mask walked out of the black hole. Ah, someone came out of it. Is it Master Ninja? Araniero Arurueri lowered his head, seeing so many people coming to welcome them, and said hello, good evening, everyone. Just as the people below were debating whether or not to reply, densely packed, bizarre creatures suddenly flew out of the black hole behind Araniero Arurueri. The people of the Kingdom of Thunder were stunned for a moment, then their eyes widened and they exclaimed, weird, monster. Yes, it's a monster. Run. Araniero Arurueri looked at the people running around like frightened birds and beasts, and said unhappily, it's because you are so scary that you scared away these enthusiastic foods. Shoo, Tisk, what are you doing standing still? Didn't you run away without seeing the food? After receiving instructions from Araniero Arurueri, the hollows yelled and then chased towards the people below. When they came out of the black cavity and saw humans, they were already hungry and thirsty. Poof! A member of the public was caught by Shu and gulped into Shu's stomach. When the others saw this, their eyes were horrified and they said in panic, quick! Go find the Ninja-sama. Cloud Shinobi Village, Raikage Office. Oh no, Raikage-sama. The Kingdom of Thunder has been invaded by unknown creatures. Chapter 49 Raikage. This void is definitely related to the Kingdom of Whirlpool. What? Monster invasion. Third Raikage propped himself up on his new desk, his eyes widening like an angry lion. Secretary Raikage adjusted his glasses, flipped through the information in his hand, and analyzed. According to the news coming back, these monsters have a circular hole in their chests, which is very similar to the description of the monsters in the country of grass. I suspect that these monsters that appear out of thin air are most likely the hollows who destroyed the Kingdom of Grass. HMPH. Third Raikage said angrily. Okay, these beasts are so brave, they dare to attract the attention of my Kingdom of Thunder. Send out the ninja team immediately. Go and clear out the void. Be sure to clear them all out. Yes, wait. Third Raikage suddenly stopped the secretary and said, let I go too. Yes. The secretary accepted the task and quickly left. Third Raikage tapped the table with his thick fingers and his eyes were sharp. As soon as they had a dispute with the Kingdom of Whirlpool, these monsters named Hollows appeared. It's hard to say that these Hollows have nothing to do with the Kingdom of Whirlpool. When I led the team to Donglan Street in the Kingdom of Thunder, the horrific scenes instantly flooded into their eyes. Collapsed houses, people buried underneath. There were broken limbs and broken arms everywhere, and the streets were stained red with blood. And the people who were being chased and will be devoured in the next second. Ai's eyes were bloodshot, and raging anger rose in his heart. He said angrily, stop it. You beasts. The next second, lightning flashed across his body and he disappeared from the spot. Boom. The arm covered with lightning instantly penetrated a hollow that was chasing people. I said loudly, kill them for me. Oh. The Cloud Shinobi responded one after another and rushed towards those monsters without hesitation. Oh, it seems like a great person has arrived. Araniero Arurueri fell from midair, and another voice said, it's so scary, we may not be able to deal with it. I stared fiercely at this strange man who wore an iron mask and spoke with two voices, and shouted angrily, are you their leader? Just as Araniero Arurueri was about to answer, I suddenly appeared in front of him with a flash of lightning and punched him hard. Call. The sharp wind of the punch rang in Yaronio's ears. He tilted his head back slightly to avoid the fierce punch. But the mask on his face was affected and fell off. Ai's pupils suddenly shrank, as if he saw something incredible. It is a glass jar like an inverted test tube, firmly connected to the body with a metal ring. The back is also covered with a metal sheet, and the tank is filled with an unknown red liquid, with two small masks with only heads floating in the liquid. I calmed down and snorted. It's not human after all. Aronio held his head, which was like a glass jar, and said, oh my, I'm really embarrassed to show people like this. Another voice suddenly sounded, how about we change our appearance? I frowned, what the hell is this guy doing? Dual personality. But soon, he couldn't care less. I saw the strange man in the glass tank in front of me suddenly changed. He had black hair, dark smoky blue pupils, and a cracked fallen vortex tattoo on his left wrist. A man appears with long lower eyelashes, a natural mark on the bridge of his nose, and slightly long hair at the end. I frowned and said, what's going on? Turned into a human. Can monsters also use transformation technique? Aroniro pulled out the Zanpakuto from his waist. Heavenly water reversed. Nejibana. Zanpakuto suddenly undergoes a drastic change, and a dark blue spear with a spiral-shaped cone at the end appears, like a trident like Poseidon. Aronio smiled. Let's continue. This knife. Ai's eyes widened slightly, remembering the information about the Kingdom of Whirlpool. He said in a deep voice, you are from the Kingdom of Whirlpool. The Kingdom of Thunder had just had a dispute with the Kingdom of Whirlpool when it was invaded by Shu. If behind this group of hollows is the Kingdom of Whirlpool, it would be very reasonable. Otherwise, why would these hollows invade the Kingdom of Thunder out of nowhere? And the first time these hollows appeared was during the Grass Country incident related to the Whirlpool Country. Now it's their turn for the Kingdom of Thunder. No matter who you think about it, there will be big problems. Aronio stretched out his index finger and shook it. No, we have nothing to do with those weak Shinigami, but you won't believe it. After all, I did look like this after swallowing Shinigami. I was shocked. What do you mean? This guy got this look after swallowing Shinigami. Could it be that it could transform into that person by devouring someone else? Or, as long as you swallow whoever you want, you can get whose ability? I stared at the trident in his hand. This sword is indeed similar to the abilities of the people in the kingdom of Whirlpool. If what this guy said is true, then this ability is too terrifying. If he swallows 7 or 8 people with limited blood abilities. Ai's eyes were firm. This person must die. Otherwise, this guy will not only be the enemy of the Kingdom of Thunder, but also the enemy of the ninja world. After all, this kind of creature that devours humans is inherently opposed to humans. There is absolutely no way to live in peace if you feed on people. Lightning-style chakra mode. Boom. A loud thunder sounded from Ai's body. It was like thunder and lightning fighting energy, enveloping his entire body. Lightning straight. Ai's whole body was ignited with thunder and lightning fighting energy, and he rushed forward with the speed of thunder and lightning, and hit Aroniro's face with a heavy fist full of thunder and lightning. Aroniro took his time and held Nejibana in front of him. With a crash, a curtain of water rose out of thin air, blocking the two of them. Lightning straight hit the water curtain with a splash, causing a splash. Crack. When thunder and lightning hit the water, they spread out instantly, making a crackling sound. IGN missed a single hit and disappeared with a teleportation technique. Through lightning style, the cells in the body are activated and move at high speeds. The amazing speed is like jumping through time and space. Appeared next to Aronio in an instant. Lateral bolt of pain. I concentrated the thunder and lightning in his hand and slashed Aronio's neck with his knife. Aronio swung back violently, and waves of water swept over him. With a bang, it collided hard with Ai's hand knife. Aroniello said in surprise. Oh, your strength is not bad, you are worthy of being devoured by us. A-hole. Lousy doesn't want to be swallowed by you. Chapter 50 The Kingdom of Whirlpool. Don't Q, the Kingdom of Thunder has been blocked. Interesting for you. The 7 most famous plus-size models in the world. More. 250. 67. A-hole. Lousy doesn't want to be swallowed by you. I blocked the raging water with his right arm, and grabbed Aronio's waist with his left hand. Aronio was stunned for a moment, and then he felt his whole body turn upside down. I hugged Aronio tightly, and the muscles in his arms suddenly swelled up like they were inflated. With the acceleration of the lightning potential energy, I held Aronio and rotated at high speed in midair. When the speed reaches a certain level, it suddenly falls vertically and hits the ground heavily. Boom. The ground suddenly surged, making a loud noise. Suddenly there was smoke and dust everywhere. The surrounding Cloud Shinobi saw this scene and said excitedly, he is indeed a candidate for Raikage who has been given the title of I. This terrifying power is probably infinitely close to that of Raikage-sama. Cloud Shinobi Village has a promising future. Brothers, we can't just rely on Master Ai, let's drive these monsters out together. Oh, Ai's battle greatly inspired Cloud Shinobi. Their adrenaline surged and they started fighting with the hollows. But Ai's face looked a little ugly. When the smoke and dust dissipated, Aroniello's intact figure was revealed. I saw that Aronio was only 1 centimeter away from the ground, and a thin stream of water protected him from severe head injuries. Aronio straightened his body and looked very ugly. Just a hair's breadth away, his head shattered. This guy. Aroniello admitted that he had underestimated the enemy. The speed, strength and lightning of this guy in front of me are indeed very powerful. You do have some ability. In that case. Aroniro's left hand suddenly turned into a spiral tentacle his lower body. Ai's pupils shrank sharply. What kind of monster is this? I was lucky enough to witness a similar situation a few days ago. That is the 8 Tails Jinchuriki Rampage incident. But that is a tailed beast called a war weapon. Is it possible that this monster named Hollow is also related to the tailed beast? Suddenly, a huge tentacle came over. I reacted quickly and used the teleportation technique to stay out of the attack range of the giant octopus. With a bang, the tentacle lost its target and hit the ground. The terrifying force made a dent in the ground. Then, what is that? The Cloud Shinobi couldn't help but tremble a little when they saw the sudden change, especially Aroniro's terrifying appearance. In this ninja world, besides tailed beasts, why are there such half-human, half-beast monsters? Although I was surprised by Aronio's change, he had no fear at all. Even the 8 Tails, the second most powerful among the tailed beasts, when Jinchuriki went berserk and Gyuki broke free of the seal, he dared to fight it head-on. And he also cut off one of Gyuki's horns. Is it possible that the big octopus in front of me is stronger than 8 Tails? That tailed beast can't be called a war weapon. But Aroniello obviously had no intention of fighting with him, and his human-shaped face suddenly grinned. The tentacles under him suddenly spread out in all directions. Ai's face suddenly changed. What is he going to do? No need for him to guess, Aronio gave him the answer immediately. Countless tentacles quickly wrapped around some of the Cloud Shinobi who were destroying the void. As screams rang out, the bodies of the Cloud Shinobi began to vaporize. Damn B******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* teleportation technique in lightning-style chakra mode quickly arrived in front of Aronio. Lightning-style ninjutsu guillotine drop. I concentrated the lightning-style chakra on his feet and launched a heavy leg from top to bottom. Boom. Guillotine drop hit Aronio's tentacles hard. He was quickly melted by the terrifying lightning, but Aronio's expression did not change at all, as if he was still tasting the taste of the Cloud Shinobi. The next moment, Aronio suddenly smiled, and thunder and lightning suddenly flashed on his huge body, like a thunder snake swimming around his body. I see, this is your current state. I was slightly distracted when he saw the changes in Aronio's body, and murmured, "This is lightning-style chakra mode." Thinking of the word, devour, that Aronio said before, I suddenly understood that this ability was obtained from the Cloud Shinobi who had just been devoured. UB******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* The muscles on his body bulged and bulged, as if he was really venting his anger. I once again used his speed as if he was jumping through space, and punched Aronio with all his strength. But soon Aronio was able to restore his body by swallowing Cloud Shinobi. Aronio joked. Boy, you didn't hit me with a single punch, but they were all your companions in the village. I felt a sudden chill in his heart, but quickly regained his composure. He understood that if he didn't kill this monster, people in the village would continue to die. Lateral bolt of pain. Chop. Cloud Shinobi Village, Raikage office. Just when the battle at Donglan Street in the Kingdom of Thunder was at a stalemate, Raikage personally greeted the Kingdom of Whirlpool. Laozi's Cloud Shinobi Village just had a dispute with your country of Whirlpool, and Shu came here, and you said it had nothing to do with you. The country of Uzumaki. Don't Q. Our duty as Shinigami in the country of Uzumaki is to purify the hollows in the ninja world, and we are inseparable from hollows. Kingdom of Thunder. Since you and Shu are inseparable, come and help Laozi purify them. The Kingdom of Whirlpool. Sorry, the Kingdom of Thunder has been blacklisted by our country and is not within the scope of purification. Of course, we in the Kingdom of Whirlpool welcome other countries to ask for help from the Kingdom of Whirlpool when they encounter virtual threats, but it's just not free. Kingdom of Thunder. FK. In Raikage's office, there was a bang. The secretary adjusted his glasses and thought about whether the next desk should be replaced with one that can withstand being smashed. His grandma, this hollow has absolutely nothing to do with the Kingdom of Whirlpool. Third Raikage cursed, suddenly thinking of how he felt when Cloud Shinobi invaded the country of Whirlpool before, and he said that these Cloud Shinobi had nothing to do with their Cloud Shinobi village as a matter of course. Mad, this country of Whirlpool definitely did it on purpose. The ninja world, through the voice of the Land of Thunder. Other ninja villages also suddenly learned that the Kingdom of Thunder was actually invaded by the hollow that destroyed the Kingdom of Grass. However, the fire did not burn their homes, and most people were still gloating about the misfortune. At the same time, they finally learned that the Shinigami of the Whirlpool country was actually a profession that could deal with hollows. After several battle performances of the Kingdom of Whirlpool, has the Kingdom of Whirlpool become so strong? This virtual force that is hostile to them has not been wiped out yet. It seems that this virtual reality is not simple. But it's still the same sentence, don't worry if the fire doesn't burn your home. Let's wait and see for now. At this moment, the country of Uzumaki suddenly spoke up, demanding that Konoha return the Uzumaki clan members living in their village to the country of Uzumaki. Konoha, who was watching the show in the Kingdom of Thunder, was suddenly stunned. Didn't he just eat melons from the masses? Why did he suddenly eat them on himself? Chapter 51 Tsunade. The Kingdom of Whirlpool. I also need to go. Interesting for you. The 7 most famous plus-size models in the world. More. 245. 61. 82. Fire Nation, Konoha Village. The Hokage office held an emergency high-level meeting. But this time it was a top-level meeting. There were only 4 people in the entire conference room, namely 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, root of Konoha Shimura Danzo, and Mitokado Homura and Udatane Kaharu of the Elder Council. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat in the main seat and said with a heavy face, Uzumaki Kushina, after all, was discovered by the Kingdom of Whirlpool. Udatane Kaharu said, when Anbu brought Uzumaki Kushina back, he did it in secret. He never left the village after coming to Konoha. How could he be discovered by the country of Whirlpool? Mitokado Homura frowned and said, did the Uzumaki country place spies in Konoha so quickly? Shimura Danzo said with a gloomy expression, I have already said that if Uzumaki Kushina was handed over to Gen, so many bad things would not happen. The other 3 subconsciously ignored Shimura Danzo's words. With your little thoughts, Danzo, do you really think that others are fools and can't pass the exam? Sarutobi Hiruzen knocked on the table and said, okay, now is not the time to pursue these issues, let's quickly discuss how to pass the Uzumaki country. Shimura Danzo hugged his chest and hummed, it is impossible to hand over Uzumaki Kushina, Konoha must not lose Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Sarutobi Hiruzen, are you still talking nonsense about this theory? The tailed beast is a war weapon that measures the strength of the ninja village. Once it is lost, it loses a means of check and balance. Therefore, the tailed beast's matter is the top priority. And the only way to seal and control tailed beasts is Jinchuriki. The first generation of Nine-Tails Jinchuriki is the wife of Lord First Hokage, Lord Uzumaki Mito. But now that Master Uzumaki Mito is old, he may go to the Pure Land at any time to accompany Shodai. So candidates for Nine-Tails Jinchuriki must prepare early. Today, the only suitable candidate for Konoha is Uzumaki Kushina. Once Uzumaki Kushina returns to the country of Uzumaki, there is no way they can stop Nine-Tails without Jinchuriki's seal. Sarutobi Hiruzen rubbed his temples and said sadly, Uzumaki Kushina cannot be friends, but Konoha is still at war, and it is not good to be too tough with the Uzumaki country. Although the Kingdom of Rain ended early due to the intervention of the captain of the Kingdom of Uzumaki, the war between them and Sunagaku is still going on, and they really can't spare any time to deal with the Kingdom of Uzumaki. Country of Uzumaki didn't say when to hand over the person, so let's hold off for now. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded slightly. At this time, Udatane Kaharu reminded, what if the Kingdom of Whirlpool suddenly attacks us unreasonably? Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned, thinking of the tyranny of the Uzumaki country after its reconstruction from the Uzumaki country. It's really wrong to drag it hard. Mitokado Homura suggested. How about we tell them the actual situation of Konoha Ninetales Jinchuriki? I believe that as an ally of Konoha, the Uzumaki country will understand us. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo and Udatane Kaharu looked at him in unison. That look looked like he was looking at a big fool. Since the last time Konoha asked for help from the country of Uzumaki as an ally, it was dismissed by the country of Uzumaki with the word, go away. They understood that this alliance might have been severed long ago. After asking for help from the Kingdom of Whirlpool and being rejected by Konoha, it has been discontinued. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly regretted not agreeing to the Uzumaki clan's request for help, otherwise there would not have been so many troubles. Maybe we can still enjoy the current energy of the country of Whirlpool. But who would have thought that this country of whirlpools could survive the simultaneous encirclement and suppression by Cloud Shinobi Village and Kurigakure? And it suddenly rose up and developed so well. It's like after being destroyed once and rejected by Konoha, the Kingdom of Whirlpool said, I don't pretend anymore, I show my cards, my brother's military strength is strong. Sarutobi Hiruzen regrets it now. Udatane Kaharu suddenly sighed. It would have been better if I had not rejected the country of Whirlpool. As soon as these words came out, Shimura Danzo, Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura tacitly set their sights on Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face twitched and he said speechlessly, what are you looking at? Don't forget that we decided to reject the country of Whirlpool together. After the words fell, Shimura Danzo, Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura turned their heads back as if nothing had happened. Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little tired. These guys always make suggestions when nothing happens, but they want to blame them when something goes wrong. I think Mitokado Homura's proposal is also a way. Just have to work around it a little bit. The matter cannot be told to the country of Whirlpool, otherwise Konoha will fall into passivity. But you can send people to the country of Whirlpool to discuss conditions and negotiate. Maybe other conditions can be used to exchange Uzumaki Kushina for staying. This will not only protect the Ninetales Jinchuriki, but also prevent the country of Whirlpool from being harmed. When necessary, Mito-sama can also be asked to play the emotional card. As long as the conditions are in place, Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't believe there is anything he can't give up. There is nothing in this world that cannot be exchanged for benefits. That's it, and decided that this was the only way. However, using some other resources and replacing Ninetales Jinchuriki, Konoha would not be at a loss. The question now is, who should be allowed to negotiate? The coffee position is too small and inappropriate, so someone with some weight must be sent to the Kingdom of Whirlpool. This weight is definitely enough. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought about it and definitely let Orochimaru go. After all, Tsunade is sometimes too impulsive, and he is still worried about what happened in the country of Whirlpool before. Let her go, maybe something bad will happen. Just Orochimaru. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally made the decision. Orochimaru, who had just returned to Konoha to train, was assigned such an important task. Going to the Kingdom of Whirlpool. Orochimaru's eyes twinkled slightly. This mission suits him so well. Ever since he last met the captain of the 6th Division of the Kingdom of Whirlpool, he had become extremely curious about the Kingdom of Whirlpool. This mission is just the right time to find out. Take a look at the magical place in this suddenly rising Whirlpool country. On the side, accidentally hearing Orochimaru talking to himself, Tsunade suddenly frowned and said, you are going to the country of Whirlpool. She suddenly remembered the figure in the Whirlpool Kingdom that was very similar to Naoki, and suddenly said, I want to go too. Chapter 52 Orochimaru. Rukongai, the abode of ghosts. Interesting for you. The 7 most famous plus-size models in the world. More. 568. 142. 189. I also need to go. Tsunade's eyes were firm. She was going to the country of Whirlpool to confirm the true identity of that figure. Although Naoki is indeed dead, what if? She understood that the mission was not something Orochimaru could decide. Without saying anything else to him, he went directly to the Hokage building to find Sarutobi Hiruzen. Orochimaru looked at Tsunade's retreating figure, and his heart suddenly sank. Understand that Tsunade has not let go of Naoki yet. After all, they are one of the few relatives left. How can it be so easy to let go? Just like when he lost his parents. He understands Tsunade's feelings, but Naoki really can't come back. Hokage building, Hokage office. With a bang, the office door was pushed open by Tsunade. Tsunade slapped his hands on the desk vigorously and said seriously, I also want to go to the mission of the Kingdom of Whirlpool. Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned for a moment, and then realized that Tsunade should know the content of Orochimaru. He frowned slightly. If it's a normal mission, just follow Tsunade. But this task is really not possible. It involves Ninetales Jinchuriki, so we can't be careless. Besides, Tsunade is prone to being impulsive, and it would be bad if something goes wrong. Sarutobi Hiruzen refused. No. Tsunade's beautiful eyes widened. Sarutobi Hiruzen was unmoved. The two were in a stalemate for a while, but Tsunade saw that Sarutobi didn't let go, ignored him, and left. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and said, "Watch Tsunade, don't let her leave Konoha during this period." Yes. Several voices rang out from the office, and then fell silent again. As Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Tsunade went home and packed her luggage. As soon as she stepped out of the door, she was stopped by Anbu. "Tsunade-sama, please don't make this difficult for us." Several Anbu were scattered around Tsunade, vaguely trying to surround her. Tsunade frowned and said in a cold voice, "Get out of here." With a bang, the chakra on Tsunade's body exploded, making his clothes whistle. But the Anbu were unmoved. Tsunade took a deep breath and prepared to use his strange strength to forcefully leave. If they don't listen to the advice, then go to the hospital and stay there for a few months, which will give them a long vacation. Just when Tsunade was about to take action, Uzumaki Mito's voice suddenly sounded. "Suna, you just returned to Konoha, what are you going to do?" Tsunade's aura was relieved and he hesitated. "Go to the country of Whirlpool." The country of Whirlpool. Uzumaki Mito frowned and said, "The situation in the Uzumaki country is not clear now. It may be dangerous to run over hastily. Since the Uzumaki kingdom was rebuilt, no one has been sent to contact her, so she doesn't know whether the Uzumaki family is still in power in the Uzumaki kingdom today. Moreover, there are so many powerful people suddenly appearing in the kingdom of Whirlpool. If there is a conflict, it may be difficult for Tsunade to come back." But, Tsunade opened his mouth, wanting to tell Grandma Mito about the person suspected of Naoki. But Uzumaki Mito interrupted. "I have already lost Naoki, am I going to lose Suna again?" Tsunade was stunned for a moment, then suddenly said decadently, "I know. You are not the only one who lost Naoki. After one day, Orochimaru departs from Konoha. Tsunade specifically told him to carefully observe whether anyone suspected of Naoki was in the land of Whirlpool. Since you can't go there yourself, leave it to Orochimaru." Orochimaru agreed on the surface, but smiled bitterly in his heart. Tsunade, is he crazy? Naoki is obviously dead, right in front of his eyes. But out of guilt for Tsunade, he decided to take a closer look at the country of Whirlpool. After all, this is his purpose. He also wanted to find out what happened in the kingdom of Whirlpool to cause such a huge change. From the land of fire to the land of Whirlpool. At Orochimaru's speed, it would take less than half a day to reach the border of Whirlpool country. After encountering a patrol at the border, Orochimaru handed over the Konoha document frankly. Soon, the news of Orochimaru's visit to the country of Whirlpool reached the ears of Uzumaki Chihiro. Orochimaru. Uzumaki Chihiro is a little surprised. He wants Uzumaki Kushina, why did he send Orochimaru here? What kind of trouble is Konoha going to do? But he did not refuse Orochimaru's visit. Said, "Bring him in." Yes, Rukia Kuchiki was about to give the order when Uzumaki Chihiro suddenly said, "Wait." Rukia Kuchiki stopped respectfully. Uzumaki Chihiro's eyes flashed and he ordered, "Have someone take him to visit the country of Whirlpool carefully, and focus on taking him to the Technology Development Bureau." Yes, Rukia Kuchiki retreated. Uzumaki Chihiro smiled inwardly. Orochimaru is also a rare genius in the ninja world. He is also the chief scientist of the ninja world and is always at the forefront of science. Now that such a talent comes to his door, how could he let him go? It just so happened that Seraiti's Technology Development Bureau still lacked a leader. If Orochimaru is taken down, the Technology Development Bureau will be considered complete. Moreover, the Shinigami job transfer scroll obtained previously also has a use, which can be used to transfer Orochimaru to Shinigami. Of course, Orochimaru is not that easy to win. Especially the current Orochimaru is not the person who became paranoid in pursuit of immortality in the later period. But he believed that as long as Orochimaru saw everything about Seraiti, he would one day be seduced, and attracted by the kingdom of Whirlpool. The border of the kingdom of Whirlpool. After Orochimaru waited for a while, he saw a man with a slender figure and a plump and proud bust. The hairstyle is a black girl with long sideburns and bangs. A braid is tied at the back of the hair and there is a red circle on the neck. A woman wearing a kimono with a short skirt and a thick-soled clog came over. She spoke softly. Ni Yinmeng, Deputy Captain of the Technology Development Bureau of the 12th Division of the Kingdom of Whirlpool, please give me your advice. Since Orochimaru needs to get to know the Technology Development Bureau well, of course the Deputy Captain of the Technology Development Bureau is the most suitable person. Division 12, Technology Development Bureau. Orochimaru's eyes flashed with surprise. There is a scientific research institute in the country of Whirlpool. Although he was the construction of this building complex is no small project. It's just that the environment here seems a bit desolate, which is a bit inconsistent with the current status of the 5 major countries in the Kingdom of Whirlpool. And there seems to be something wrong with the people here, looking confused. Is it an illusion? But as he got closer to the center of the Whirlpool country, the environment became more and more favorable. And the people are becoming more and more energetic. At this time, Ni Yinmeng introduced him. This is Rukongai, it is. The Abode of Ghosts. Chapter 53 Orochimaru. Are you serious? The Abode of Ghosts. Orochimaru was shocked, and then looked at Ninmu seriously, as if to see if she was joking. But it's obvious that Ni Yinmeng is serious. Orochimaru took a deep breath, could it be true? However, he always had doubts in his heart. Are you kidding me, the Abode of Ghosts? Are these living people in front of us all ghosts? What's more, Since he has become a ghost, how can he still stay in the world? Although I have some doubts and questions in my heart. But Orochimaru didn't question it, he just listened carefully with a calm expression. After all, it was someone else's territory, so even if someone tried to trick him, he had to keep smiling. Otherwise, I'm afraid he won't be able to go back. Ni Yinmeng didn't care whether he believed it or not. After all, she just received the order from Lord Soul King to act as a temporary tour guide. Just do her job, she continued. After the death of people in the ninja world, their complete souls will come to settle in Rukongai. According to the order of death, they will be assigned to 80 areas in the east, west, north, and south. 80 regions from east to west, north to south. Are there too many buildings in the kingdom of Whirlpool? Is there really that large a population? Orochimaru was suspicious. Although the so-called ghost's abode made him think that the woman was joking with him. But the information about these buildings should be true. After all, Orochimaru has seen so many buildings along the way. Ni Yinmeng continued. The public security and living environment in the first district of Rukongai are ideal, with abundant food. The districts with numbers at the back have worse living conditions. I see. Orochimaru nodded slightly. No wonder the outermost buildings are very desolate, but the further you go inside, the more prosperous they become. Orochimaru is very concerned about the information about these buildings. As for the talk of ghosts, he just listened to it as a story. Soon, Ni Inamu brought Orochimaru to the gate of Seraiti. Because the direction of the Fire Country is to the west of the Whirlpool Country. Therefore, the direction Orochimaru came from was also the west side of the Kingdom of Whirlpool, so what he saw was the west gate of Seraiti. Orochimaru raised his head and looked at the towering wall, shock flashing in his eyes. When did the Kingdom of Whirlpool have such a magnificent building? Moreover, this wall was in the shape of an arc. He tilted his head slightly and couldn't even see the end point of the wall's extension. Even the gate in front of you is so majestic. At this time, Ni Yinmu used his identity as a tour guide and introduced. After passing through Rukongai, you will see the Seraiti in front of you. Seraiti. Orochimaru's golden pupils flickered slightly, thinking of the content related to the Kingdom of Whirlpool recorded in the Konoha Intelligence Department. Is that why those Shinigami call themselves Gote 13? It turns out that the Seraiti in front of me is being protected. Orochimaru's eyes flashed slightly, and he had a deeper understanding of the Kingdom of Whirlpool. Ni Yinmeng continued. Seraiti has 4 gates, namely west, east, north and south. Our current location is Examen Beidao. Ni Yinmu said hello to Itsusaka Tanbo who was guarding the gate, and then walked in with Orochimaru. As soon as he entered the Seraiti, Orochimaru was stunned on the spot. You can't even imagine the streets at first glance. Most of the buildings on the streets are simple in appearance, with light-colored walls and tiled roofs. The environment in the territory is beautiful, with large grasslands and low mountains. What shocked him the most were the towering buildings. It's several times taller than the Hokage building in Konoha. Was the Kingdom of Whirlpool really rebuilt in the past 6 months? This bustling building has a quaint atmosphere and is full of historical atmosphere. All of them tell the story of its longevity. It turns out that the Kingdom of Whirlpool has only been rebuilt for half a year. Even first Hokage with wood style cannot have such outrageous infrastructure. The Kingdom of Whirlpool is indeed not simple. Orochimaru calmed down and gave an apologetic smile to Ni Yinmu, who was waiting for him to come to his senses. Ni Yinmu glanced at him, then led him further inside, introducing at the same time. Seraiti is the place where the Shinigami live, and all the team buildings of the 13th Division are also gathered here. On the way forward, he passed by a place that looked like a school. Ni Yinmu said, that's the Spiritual Arts Academy, a place used to train Shinigami. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes and took a closer look at the Spiritual Arts Academy. Raising Shinigami. In other words, I am similar to the ninja school created by second Hokage. His eyes flashed and he spotted an enrollment brochure posted at the door of Spiritual Arts Academy. Teaching courses. Slashing, boxing, ghost, walking, swordsmanship, white hits, Kido, Shunpo, discussion of various methods of Zanpakuto Shikai, discussion of the characteristics of the void, how to correctly purify the void. Admission benefits. A sealed state can transform into Zanpakuto after training. Zon fist ghost walking, cutting is swordsmanship, boxing, white hits. Sounds like taijutsu. Kido. Could this be the Muji ninjutsu recorded in the intelligence? Hiss. The students in their school actually teach Muji ninjutsu. Zanpakuto. It should be those magical ninja swords. Let's go. Shunpo. Is it the ability to move at high speeds? Admission benefits. Get a sealed state for free. What? Can sealed state transform into Zanpakuto? Are they those magical ninja swords? Hiss. Orochimaru's pupils shrank, and he almost couldn't help himself and went to school. The teaching conditions are also great. Swordsmanship, taijutsu, Muji ninjutsu and body flicker technique. You can even get one of those magical ninja swords for free when you enroll. This is much better than the ninja school in Konoha. If he hadn't been spotted by Mr. Sarutobi because of his talent, he probably wouldn't have been able to learn a decent ninjutsu until graduation. This comparison is really a huge difference. And that knife called sealed state is distributed for free. This kind of ninja sword, which is priceless in the ninja world, is distributed for free in the country of Whirlpool. No wonder everyone in the country of Whirlpool has it. This made him want to go to school. As for the subsequent courses aimed at Kion, Orochimaru also thinks they are reasonable. Didn't the Kingdom of Whirlpool say that they are inseparable from Shu? Look, even the courses taught in school have specific lessons on how to better kill the virtual. This proves that the Whirlpool Kingdom did not lie. Seeing the huge teaching resources of the Uzumaki country, Orochimaru showed a look of envy for the first time. After he calmed down, they continued on their way. When passing by a special building, Ninmeng introduced, "That's the team building of the third team over there." Orochimaru turned his head slightly and looked over. When a boy with short brown hair and 2 conspicuous blushes on his cheeks came into view in the third team's dormitory, Orochimaru froze on the spot. Rope, Nawaki, Chapter 54 Uzumaki Chihiro. Orochimaru, come and serve in our country of Whirlpool. Rope, Nawaki. Orochimaru's pupils dilated and he stared at the figure in the building called the 3rd Division Team Building. She has short brown hair and 2 conspicuous red cheeks. Isn't this who Nawaki is? As Tsunade's classmate and Nawaki's teacher, he thought that he would never be able to recognize Nawaki's appearance. Isn't Nawaki dead? Right before his eyes, he witnessed Nawaki stepping into a trap set by the enemy and being blown up to death by countless detonating talismans. Who is this person in front of me? Is it really Nawaki? He then remembered that Tsunade had heard Nawaki's voice before, and even wanted to come to the country of Whirlpool, and then he realized that Tsunade really heard it right. Nawaki is really here. Suddenly, he was startled. He remembered the Rukongai that the woman next to him had introduced to him before. Before meeting Nawaki, Yin Shi felt that she must be deceiving him. Orochimaru's heart sank. Is it the residence of ghosts? This is actually true. In other words, the residents we saw before are also ghosts. Could it be that people from the ninja world will come to Rukongai in the land of Whirlpool and serve as ministers after death? Orochimaru took a deep breath and asked, Vice Captain Ninmu, that boy over there, do you know his name? Ninmeng looked over and said hesitantly, it should be Senju. Nawaki. Really? Orochimaru was shocked. The whole body suddenly trembled slightly with excitement. Nawaki is not dead. No, Nawaki is dead, but has started a new life in the land of Whirlpool as a ghost. But what excited him the most was that he seemed to have caught a glimpse of the secret of the kingdom of Whirlpool. Although Nawaki is in a ghost state now, it is obvious that he has become a member of the third team. In other words, the souls here have the qualifications to become Shinigami. So, is it possible that all Shinigami in the land of Uzumaki are actually made up of dead people? The kingdom of Whirlpool gives new life to the dead and gives them new power, allowing them to fight for the kingdom of Whirlpool. In this way, it is very reasonable for the kingdom of Whirlpool to suddenly rise again after it was destroyed. Because they didn't really die. Orochimaru took a deep look at Nawaki who was talking to his sword, and then followed Nirvana's footsteps. He didn't talk to Nawaki rashly. After all, this is the territory of the kingdom of Whirlpool, and he will not do anything extraordinary without the owner's permission. What's more, he also came to discuss the Nine Tails Jinchuriki as an envoy of Konoha this time. Don't do unnecessary things, lest you ruin Konoha's big events. But the discovery of the Whirlpool Kingdom still made his heart beat faster. He was even thinking that since people will become ghosts after death and come to the kingdom of Whirlpool, should he try to commit suicide when he returns to Konoha? He is really curious about the difference between him after becoming a soul and now. And maybe you can enroll in the Spiritual Arts Academy, learn those Muji Ninjutsu, and get one of those magical swords. But after all, he was just thinking about it. What puzzled him was that why didn't Nawaki return to Konoha even though he didn't die in the real sense? Didn't even go back to see Tsunade. Bury this doubt in your heart. Since Nawaki lives a good life here, there is no need to worry about these things. But if he tells Tsunade about Nawaki after returning to Konoha, I'm afraid Tsunade will go crazy and come to the country of Whirlpool. But that's none of his business. Soon, under the leadership of Ninmeng, the two came to a gate full of technology. Ninmu introduced. This is the Technology Development Bureau, a place used to develop Shinigami skills, research souls and voids, and develop some inventive props. Orochimaru's eyes lit up. Isn't this the Konoha Research Institute? Since witnessing Nawaki's death, Yinji has decided to start researching technology to extend life. The soul was a research direction he thought of, but it has been hampered by the war in the Kingdom of Rain, so it has not yet taken action. He didn't expect that the Kingdom of Whirlpool would conduct research on the soul one step ahead of him. Moreover, it is the country of Uzumaki that allows souls to stay in the country of Uzumaki and allows the souls to become Shinigami. Obviously, their research on the soul will be more in-depth. Maybe there are already relevant research results. It's a pity that he will never see this kind of research results. Ninmeng suddenly said, want to go in and take a look? Orochimaru opened his eyes slightly and fell silent. Such an important place could be allowed to be visited by an outsider like him. He immediately doubted the purpose of the Whirlpool Kingdom. However, his thirst for knowledge still made him unable to hold back. May I? Ninmeng's expression did not change, and she said calmly, please come in. The door opened, and Yishi suddenly became enlightened. Researchers in white coats walked around inside. The entire Technology Development Bureau has a sense of science fiction that is incompatible with the ninja world. There are even many devices that Orochimaru has never seen before. Ninmeng took him, CCBE, around casually. Of course, some important places were not shown to Orochimaru. But Orochimaru's eyes were still wide open and he was enjoying seeing it. Although he couldn't understand what most of them were for. But there were some things he knew. For example, in a certain laboratory, there is research on cloning life. This research made him clench his hands excitedly. There is also a device that can explore the ninja world through a screen. The picture in it shows the battle between those monsters called Hollows and Cloud Shinobi in the Kingdom of Thunder. When Orochimaru came out of the Technology Development Bureau, he felt completely lost. The country of Whirlpool seems to be living in two different worlds from the rest of the ninja world. Even Konoha, which is the #1 ninja village in the ninja world, can't keep up with the shooting. Even everything here was deeply attracting him. Especially the mystery of the soul. Orochimaru took a deep breath to calm down his frantic heart. He is still from Konoha, and he is also a disciple trained by teacher Sarutobi himself. He cannot let down teacher Sarutobi's cultivation of him. It's almost time to walk around Saraiti. Nirvana finally brought Orochimaru to the high-rise building he had looked up at when he first entered. Division 13 Headquarters Building. Nian Meng said. Let's go, come with me to see Lord Spirit King. Orochimaru's heart sank, a little nervous. Is this mysterious Spirit King of the Whirlpool Kingdom finally going to see his true face? Entering the headquarters building, a chilling atmosphere instantly enveloped him. On one side of the hall, powerful figures stood quietly, each one giving him a feeling of hair standing on end. It seemed as if he would die if he acted rashly. According to Konoha's intelligence, Orochimaru quickly understood that these should be the captains of the country of Whirlpool. Only 4 of them showed up. Doesn't the Kingdom of Whirlpool have 13 divisions? Have all the other captains gone on missions? Orochimaru guessed in his mind, and then looked up at the position of the Aries. With just one glance, Orochimaru's pupils shrank. The eye-catching red hair instantly allowed him to confirm the identity of the person in front of him. The Spirit King of the country of Whirlpool is indeed the Uzumaki clan. All of Konoha's previous guesses were confirmed. While Orochimaru was shocked in his heart, he said respectfully on the surface, Orochimaru, the envoy from Konoha, has met the Soul King. Uzumaki Chihiro said calmly, Orochimaru, what do you think of our country of Whirlpool? Orochimaru was shocked and didn't understand the purpose of the Soul King's question, but he still said respectfully. The Kingdom of Whirlpool has prosperous buildings, beautiful environment, and many special places. It is a very magical country. Uzumaki Chihiro chuckled and said, are you interested in working in our country of Whirlpool? The Technology Development Bureau of our country of Whirlpool still lacks a director. Orochimaru's heart skipped a beat. Poaching. But his heart suddenly moved. There are souls everywhere in the Kingdom of Whirlpool, and they can even serve as the director of the Technology Development Bureau. He took a deep breath and declined this extremely tempting invitation. Sorry, Lord Soul King, you are still a ninja in Konoha. Oh, that means we can just wait, right? Uzumaki Chihiro chuckled in his heart, it was really interesting. Inviting Orochimaru to the land of Whirlpool, Uzumaki Chihiro also thought carefully. And he's not afraid of Orochimaru becoming a 25-year-old. As long as he dares to agree, he needs to pass the Shinigami job transfer scroll to become Shinigami. If Ichi changes his job and becomes Shinigami, then he will no longer have any bad thoughts towards him. This is the power that the Soul King has over Shinigami under the system settings. Just a thought can easily control the life and death of Shinigami. Since Orochimaru declined his invitation, Uzumaki Chihiro did not continue the topic. The reaction has planted a seed in Orochimaru's heart, and even led him to look at the Technology Development Bureau's research projects on souls and life. He couldn't believe that Orochimaru was not moved by this. One day, Orochimaru will come to your doorstep. In that case, let's tell you what Konoha sent you to do. Orochimaru breathed a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that if he refused the invitation, the Soul King would become angry and ask these captains to beat him to death. Orochimaru said, this visit to the country of Uzumaki is for Uzumaki Kushina. He said seriously, Uzumaki Kushina is of great significance to me, Konoha. We, Konoha, are willing to pay any price to keep Uzumaki Kushina. I hope that Lord Soul King will fulfill her wish. Uzumaki Chihiro plays with taste. At any cost. Orochimaru said seriously. Any price. Then give Konoha to us, the country of Whirlpool. I'm afraid this won't work. Orochimaru was embarrassed. He said any price, just to make it sound nice. How dare this Soul King really want it? Uzumaki Chihiro chuckled and said, didn't you say there is any price? Orochimaru broke into a cold sweat and could only bite the bullet and said, this is really not possible. Uzumaki Chihiro said without interest, since Konoha is not sincere, let's forget it and see the guests off. Etc. Orochimaru wanted to say something more, but was looked at indifferently by several captains. Then he wisely shut his mouth. Just when Orochimaru was about to step out of the headquarters door, Uzumaki Chihiro said, I only give Konoha 3 days. If I can't see Kushina in the country of Uzumaki after 3 days, then I, the country of Uzumaki, will have to go and get it myself. At that time, don't blame me, the Kingdom of Whirlpool, for being ruthless. Orochimaru's heart tightened. Even after leaving the headquarters, the Spirit King's voice still echoed in his ears. This time, I'm afraid it's going to happen for real. Got it. At the same time, he also understood that Konoha would never hand over Uzumaki Kushina. There must be a battle between the Kingdom of Whirlpool and Konoha. After leaving the land of Whirlpool country, Orochimaru felt a little lost. Especially the souls of Rukongai showed his desire to study immediately. DJI. In the evening, Orochimaru returned to Konoha. The Hokage office held an emergency high-level meeting again. Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a gloomy face. You mean, the country of Whirlpool refused? Orochimaru nodded. Shimura Danzo snorted coldly and said. You actually want to exchange Konoha for Uzumaki Kushina, it's really a lion's mouth. I think he has no intention of negotiating in the country of Uzumaki. Mad, he didn't even get Konoha, but the country of Whirlpool actually dared to covet his Konoha. Shimura Danzo continued. Stop having any illusions about peace talks, Sarutobi. Well, use. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed, he also wanted to be tougher. But now Konoha's conditions don't allow him to get hard. He pondered for a moment and asked, is that Soul King really a member of the Uzumaki clan? Orochimaru said. That bright red hair, and it is from the country of Whirlpool. I think there is no other possibility besides the Uzumaki clan, right? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked uncertain. Since the spiritual king in power was from the Uzumaki clan, there might be some room for success if Mito-sama was asked to come forward. Although the relationship between the country of Uzumaki and Konoha has broken down, as an Uzumaki clan, we have to give Mito-sama face, right? Of course, sleepy leaves also have to be prepared with both hands. He said. Kaharu, how is the barrier team's research on the sealing of time and space ninjutsu going? Udatane Kaharu said. Some results have been achieved, but there are no ninjas in Konoha who have mastered the time and space ninjutsu, so it is not clear whether the barrier is really useful. Anyway, regardless of whether it's feasible or not, let's arrange it for Konoha first. If the kingdom of Whirlpool unreasonably opens a hole in Konoha, it can barely be regarded as a means of restraint. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought for a while and continued to ask. Orochimaru, did you find anything when you went to the country of Whirlpool this time? Since the conflict with the kingdom of Whirlpool is inevitable, try to understand the situation of the kingdom of Whirlpool so that you can make corresponding strategies. It's a place I really want to stay. Orochimaru subconsciously thought of these words. But obviously, this sentence cannot be said. He recalled carefully and said. The buildings in the kingdom of Whirlpool are very majestic, and the population is very large. Although he knew that those souls were also obviously productive, so they were no different from normal people. As for the soul, Orochimaru didn't say anything. In addition to my own selfishness, it is also because I would never believe such an outrageous thing unless I saw it with my own eyes. Even he only listened to it as a story at first. In fact, just by relying on the fact that people after death will go to Rukongai in the state of soul, Orochimaru understands that the country of Whirlpool is already in an invincible position. Once there is a conflict between Konoha and the kingdom of Whirlpool, the war will escalate. After the death, people went to the kingdom of Whirlpool one after another, and more people were beaten. On the other hand, the Konoha people are fighting less and less, so how can they still fight? Of course, Orochimaru doesn't know that Rukongai only has a 50% chance of attracting souls. But even if I knew it, it would still be outrageous. It's like an endless supply of weapons, able to provide troops to the kingdom of Whirlpool at any time. But he didn't tell Sarutobi-sensei this either. Even if you tell them, whether they believe it or not, will Konoha and the Uzumaki country stop fighting? Since they are all going to be beaten, telling them this point is just adding to their troubles. Anyway, if you die, you can live again in Rukongai. Teacher Sarutobi is not young anymore. If you die accidentally, you can go to the country of Uzumaki to rest. Of course, it was impossible for him to say such words. After hearing this, I'm sure Sarutobi Hiruzen will clean up his house. He deliberately suggested that we should hand over Uzumaki Kushina. Work hard to improve the sealing technique obtained from the kingdom of Whirlpool, and it will be enough to use someone else's Jinchuriki. But he knew that this proposal was unlikely to be accepted by them. If you have never seen it with your own eyes, you will never know the horror of the kingdom of Whirlpool. Chapter 55 Nawaki, go give Konoha a little wood-style shock. Interesting for you. The 7 most famous plus-size models in the world. More. 400. 100. 133. Maybe it's time for him to carefully consider taking a job in the country of Whirlpool. This kind of country that controls the ninja world's life after death, as long as they are given time, will one day establish themselves in the ninja world. Maybe only Hollow, who is against Shinigami, can become their opponent. The group from the kingdom of Whirlpool has made Orochimaru's horizons infinitely higher, and his heart is no longer focused on the wars between various countries. He wants to study the soul, the void, and all issues related to life. Orochimaru. Orochimaru came back to his senses and said, What's wrong, Sarutobi-sensei? Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and looked at his beloved disciple. Why has he been a little absent-minded since he came back from the country of Whirlpool? Forget it, maybe I'm tired. After all, he had just returned from the battlefield in the Kingdom of Rain to recuperate, and he was called to perform a mission in the Kingdom of Whirlpool. He rubbed his brows. He didn't care about the buildings of the Kingdom of Whirlpool, but he had to pay attention to the population. The Kingdom of Whirlpool is obviously just a small country, but even if it defeated the Kingdom of Water, it suddenly became one of the 5 major countries. But within the scope of the country, it is impossible to support too many people. But Orochimaru said that the population is large. Could it be brought from the land of water? Apart from this, is there anything else worth noting in the Kingdom of Whirlpool? Orochimaru pondered. The country of Whirlpool also has an educational institution dedicated to training Shinigami, which is similar to Master Second Hokage's ninja school, but... Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and said, But what? The quality of their school's courses is very high in my opinion. Orochimaru looked serious and continued. they each have the Zuken Demon Walk Fourth Gate course. Slashing is swordsmanship, boxing is taijutsu, ghost is Muji ninjutsu. In the information, it must be the kind of shunko that can move at high speed. Sarutobi Hiruzen was surprised. You mean, that kind of Muji ninjutsu is actually a school curriculum? Everyone can learn it, it's free. Orochimaru nodded heavily. Hearing this news, not only Sarutobi Hiruzen was surprised, but Shimura Danzo and the other three were also very surprised by the courage of the Uzumaki country. You know, although Konoha established a school to train ninjas according to the instructions of Lord Second Hokage. But what students can learn in it is only some physical skills, the use of ninja tools, and the lowest level of the three bodies. Students who want to learn more advanced ninjutsu must either belong to a ninja family or have a family inheritance. If a civilian wants to learn ninjutsu, in addition to having a teacher who will teach him ninjutsu selflessly, he can only redeem ninjutsu from the village by completing tasks that contribute to the village. Even other ninja villages learned from Konoha and founded their own ninja schools, but this model has not changed. Because this model can not only encourage civilian ninjas to contribute to the village, but also prevent the leakage of ninjutsu in the village. Even if a rebellious ninja appears, it is impossible to take away too much ninjutsu about the village. But why does he dare to do this in this country of Vortex? Isn't he afraid that his country's ninjutsu will leak out? Aren't you afraid that the students you teach will commit treason? Everyone here was very puzzled by the generous approach of the Kingdom of Whirlpool. But at the same time, they also had some ideas in their minds. Since the Kingdom of Whirlpool does not impose restrictions on this, can they send people to sneak into the Kingdom of Whirlpool, turn into civilians, become students of the Kingdom of Whirlpool, and learn all the Muji ninjutsu? If Orochimaru knew what they were thinking, he might laugh out loud. Because the students of Spiritual Arts Academy are all people who have died once. But Orochimaru didn't know what they were thinking, and continued. In addition, every student who enrolls in the Spiritual Arts Academy will be able to obtain a sealed state. Orochimaru glanced at them and chuckled. After the transformation of this sealed state, it becomes one of those ninja swords that can have special abilities, and they call it Zanpakuto. Zanpakuto. Orochimaru's voice was like a deafening bell, ringing in their hearts. What did you say? Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo, even Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura stood up from their seats in shock. They understand too well the importance of the ninja sword of the Uzumaki kingdom, the Zanpakuto. All kinds of weird abilities make them really greedy. Every user of Zanpakuto is a rare blood successor limit holder. As a result, Orochimaru told them that in the land of Whirlpool, everyone could have such an important resource by just enrolling in the Spiritual Arts Academy. What a waste. It's like Konoha has opened up the forbidden technique on the seal scroll, so that all students in the ninja school can learn it at will. The Kingdom of Whirlpool, is it over? Can such important strategic resources be given casually? Their eyes widened and they could not recover for a long time. They seemed to be stunned by the astonishing generosity of the Kingdom of Whirlpool. At the same time, a crazy idea kept emerging in their hearts. A flash of greed blinded their eyes. We must arrange for someone to go to the country of Whirlpool. The Spiritual Arts Academy of the country of Whirlpool is recruiting students, and Konoha must provide support to their allies. Whoosh. They gasped and seemed to see a bright future for Konoha to obtain Muji ninjutsu and Zanpakuto forging technology from the land of Whirlpool. Orochimaru understands their excitement all too well. Because he also behaved like this at that time. He even knew so much more than they knew that his heart was beating so hard that he couldn't walk. Thinking about it now, maybe the young lady who took him with him at that time was laughing at him for looking like he had never seen the world. Fortunately, the lady's expression was so expressionless that he didn't feel too embarrassed. But just judging from the reaction of Mr. Sarutobi and others after hearing these things in the country of Uzumaki. The ninja world may be about to change. And most people are probably still kept in the dark, even the top brass in Konoha in front of them. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a deep drag on the cigarette to calm down his mood and gradually calm down. He glanced at Shimura Danzo and the other three, and found that their eyes were exactly the same as his just now. Muji ninjutsu and the so-called Zanpakuto are simply too tempting. He tapped the table lightly with his pipe and said, put aside the matter of Spiritual Arts Academy for now. Shimura Danzo came back to his senses, took a deep look at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and then returned to his previous calm appearance. He didn't believe that Sarutobi Hiruzen had no idea about the Spiritual Arts Academy in the land of Whirlpool. However, this kind of Zanpakuto, which can cultivate blood inheritance limits in batches, must be controlled by his roots. In other words, it can only be in the hands of Konoha led by him. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know what Shimura Danzo was thinking, and continued to ask. Besides, what is the military strength of the Uzumaki country? It has been half a year since the last time the Whirlpool Kingdom went out in full force. Konoha also doesn't know whether the military strength of the Whirlpool country has increased again. Although no ninja village can improve several times in just half a year. But the country of Whirlpool is a country that likes to create miracles. What's more, they also cultivate Shinigami in batches, who are similar to blood successor limited ninjas. In this regard, Sarutobi Hiruzen cannot tolerate any sloppiness. Orochimaru recalled the Shinigami he saw in the Seraiti, and said solemnly, I don't know the specific number, but it is definitely much more than when we invaded the Kingdom of Water. But all their captains seem to have gone on missions. There are only 4 captains in the Kingdom of Whirlpool now. Of course, I can't guarantee whether the Kingdom of Whirlpool deliberately didn't want the other captains to show up. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes lit up. There were only 4 captains, which was good news for Yi. At present, Konoha's military strength is only limited by Sunagaku, but its high-end combat power is quite high. The strongest Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Darkness of Konoha, Shimura Danzo. The combination of his own Konoha elders, Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura. Plus the clan heads of several families in Konoha. Uchiha, Hyuga, Ino Shika Cho. What's more, there's the first Hokage-sama's wife, the strongest tailed beast Nine Tails Jinchuriki, Uzumaki Mito. In terms of high-level combat power, Sarutobi Hiruzen is confident that he is not weaker than the country of Whirlpool. Even worse, but the mid-level combat power pales in comparison. However, maybe Konoha can solve the country of Whirlpool without losing a single soldier. After all, Mito-sama is on Konoha's side, even if you are the leader of the kingdom of Whirlpool, Lord Spirit King. But as a junior of the Uzumaki clan, you have to give Mito-sama some face, right? After feeling confident, Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression gradually became calm. Okay, I already understand the situation in the country of Whirlpool. Since the country of Whirlpool must do something, then I, Konoha, will accompany them to play. Sarutobi Hiruzen put his hands on the table and his eyes were bright, as if he really showed his heroic demeanor at this moment. With a wave of his hand, he said energetically, notify all registered ninjas in the village to prepare for level 3 battles to welcome the arrival of our allied nations. At 12 o'clock in the morning, the conference room of the Hokage building finally became dark. Orochimaru walked out exhausted both physically and mentally. Let's just have a meeting, and we even went through a lengthy pre-war mobilization draft. Mr. Sarutobi has become more and more fond of speaking since he became the principal. After walking out, a familiar figure loomed under the streetlight not far away. Orochimaru's face twitched. Tsunade. Could it be that Tsunade has been waiting since he came back? Tsunade finally breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Orochimaru finally came out. Several times, she almost couldn't help but break in the door and ask, how could it be possible to open the door from 7 o'clock in the evening to 12 o'clock in the morning? Fortunately, she restrained herself severely. Tsunade looked ferocious, held down Orochimaru's shoulders, and said in a low voice, have you seen Naoki? Orochimaru felt his shoulders were about to be crushed. He didn't dare to move or speak, he could only nod his head. Tsunade's beautiful eyes widened and she said in disbelief, really? Are you right? Isn't he someone who looks very similar to Naoki? Orochimaru nodded again. Tsunade's hand suddenly loosened and he looked a little dazed. Please give me flowers. In fact, she didn't believe that Naoki was still alive at all. She just suddenly met someone who looked very similar to Naoki, and she always had a thought in her heart. But, Orochimaru suddenly told him that it was actually Naoki. Once it was confirmed, she suddenly couldn't believe it. After all, how could someone who has died appear again? She murmured to herself. How is it possible? How could Naoki be still alive? If he is still alive, why doesn't he return to Konoha and not Senju? No, don't confirm it with your own eyes. Orochimaru stopped her and said, in 3 days, people from the country of Whirlpool will come to pick up Uzumaki Kushina. Why don't you ask them then? Tsunade's face was uncertain, and he gritted his teeth and said, okay. Then I will wait for 3 days. The next day, the kingdom of Whirlpool, Seirei. Extension. After looking at the system panel overnight, the reputation value increased a little again. Uzumaki Chihiro understood that this was Orochimaru conveying what he saw and heard in the Uzumaki country to the top management of Konoha. In addition, Shu is still causing trouble in the Kingdom of Thunder. Adding the two together, the reputation value that had just been consumed once again reached more than 100,000. Ding! Congratulations to host for accumulating 2 million reputation points, unlocking new features, and upgrading troops. Unit upgrade. Uzumaki Chihiro checked this function, and then suddenly said, you can use reputation points to upgrade the level of the troops, but those with insufficient potential are not eligible for promotion. Generally speaking, there are some military units that have captain-level potential, but only have the strength of a deputy captain. This type of soldier, Uzumaki Chihiro, can use reputation points to encourage others to grow, allowing the soldier to skip the training process and directly reach captain-level strength. Asterisk 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 asterisk. It's just that the reputation value used to upgrade the level of the arms also corresponds to each level. For example, if an elite unit wants to be upgraded to a heroic unit, it requires a minimum of 100,000 reputation points. In fact, it is not much different from recruiting hero-level troops. It depends on Uzumaki Chihiro's choice. He glanced at the reputation value on the system panel. Decisively called Rukia Kuchiki in. The little secretary who has been with him for so long must be rewarded severely. With Rukia Kuchiki looking confused, Uzumaki Chihiro poured all his reputation points into Rukia Kuchiki's body. As the golden Madara dots around Rukia Kuchiki flickered, a snow-white figure loomed over her body. After the golden Madara dot disappeared, Rukia Kuchiki was stunned for a moment, then knelt on the ground with one knee, bowed his head and said respectfully, thank you, Lord Spirit King, for the reward. Just now, she suddenly had some experiences that seemed like they had been R*****D for a long time. Zuken Kizai has been greatly improved, and she can also perform Bankai. The sudden change made her understand that all this was a reward from the Spirit King. Uzumaki Chihiro waved his hand. As a soldier who was recruited in the previous chapters, he even took care of his daily life without detail. Rukia Kuchiki, who takes care of everything no matter what, deserves his severe reward. Ichimaru Jin, who teaches Senju Nawaki in the 3rd Division building. Uzumaki Chihiro suddenly remembered something and asked, "By the way, how is Nawaki's training progress?" Rukia Kuchiki replied, "It is said that after Captain Ichimaru's training, he has been able to successfully Shikai." Training. This word is so subtle. Any idea what type of Zanpakuto it is? It is said to be wood type. Tai. Uzumaki Chihiro's eyes narrowed slightly, although is it related to his previous experience? Because he was of the Senju clan's bloodline and was a direct descendant of Senju Hashirama, he was able to awaken the Zanpakuto related to the wood system. In this case, take Nawaki with you when you go to Konoha. As the sole heir of the Senju clan, now that he has achieved academic success, how could he not visit his hometown in Konoha? By the way, give Konoha a little shock. As the heir to the Senju clan who awakened the wood style, he ended up meeting Konoha with a sword drawn. That scene must be exciting, right? Hiss. This good show must be appreciated carefully. Rukia, ask the people from the Technology Development Bureau to send a monitor. Yes. After the Technology Development Bureau sent the monitor and installed it, Uzumaki Chihiro asked them to adjust the screen to the sky above Konoha. Next, you just need to wait quietly for the moment when the time comes. Since Uzumaki Chihiro said to give Konoha 3 days, then wait 3 days. As a human being, you must keep your word. Of course, he didn't think Konoha would send Kushina Uzumaki here honestly. 2 days later. The whole day, Konoha was peaceful, just when everyone thought that the kingdom of Whirlpool was not coming. Until near dusk, the space above Konoha suddenly shook, causing ripples. The ninjas of the barrier class stared, because they shouted, "Something is forcibly tearing the space apart." Orochimaru's pupils suddenly dilated. This time period, isn't it the time for him to leave the kingdom of Whirlpool? Kun. Chapter 56 Sarutobi Hiruzen. The advantage is mine. Interesting for you. The 7 most famous plus-size models in the world. More. 863. 216. 288. Buzzing. In the sky above Konoha, the space suddenly stirred up waves. There was a sudden click in the sky, a small crack suddenly appeared, and a ray of golden light spilled out through the crack. The sudden change made the people of Konoha village full of doubts. The dusk period is the time to get off work. The streets are crowded with pedestrians. Seeing the strange changes in the sky, they all stopped to watch out of curiosity. Although Konoha is at war at this time, the people of Konoha village are happier than other ninja villages. They were well protected by the ninjas of Konoha and had never seen war. Therefore, even if there was a sudden change in the sky, everyone did not panic at all, and even started discussing it leisurely. Is it another ninja master who was practicing ninjutsu? And the ninjas who had been informed early on gathered towards the center of the mutation. Some genin also began to take action to evacuate the surrounding villagers. The villagers looked puzzled, and some were even unwilling to leave to see what was going to happen. Swish. Countless ninjas appeared under the mutated sky. Tsunade also used the body flicker technique to rush over, and joined Orochimaru, who came one step ahead. Tsunade stared at the changes in the sky and frowned. Is it coming? Orochimaru didn't answer, but looked up at the sky in shock. This country of Whirlpool, a little too principled, right? 3 days is just 3 days, no more, no less. A whoosh. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was wearing the robe of the 3rd Hokage god, also rushed over. Followed behind him were Utatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura of the Konoha elders. Sarutobi Hiruzen glanced solemnly at the waves in the sky, and then looked around. After not finding Shimura Danzo, he couldn't help asking, "Where is Danzo?" Utatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura were stunned for a moment, and then searched for a circle but did not find the figure hidden behind Shimura's 9-7 lords. He hesitated. Maybe, still on the way. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a moment. As a teammate for many years, he knew this old friend too well. He shook his head and sighed. Forget it, don't worry about him. Once there is a crisis in Konoha, where can you, the dark of Konoha, hide? Putting the matter of Shimura Danzo behind, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked solemnly at the growing cracks in the sky, and immediately issued an order. Boundary team, activate the Flying Thunder God barrier. Yes. Under the command of Sarutobi Hiruzen, a group of ninjas ran out, holding kunai engraved with special runes and shooting towards the surrounding area of the crack. Clank clank. Kunai formed a ring and surrounded the crack. Fluctuations that affect space. Under the gaze of everyone, golden lines strung together by kunai, like chains, entangled the cracks that gradually expanded. With a final buzz, the golden chain was quickly straightened and tightened, tightly locking the crack. Sarutobi Hiruzen and others stared at the changes in the crack, and only breathed a sigh of relief when the expansion trend was stopped by the golden chain. Sarutobi Hiruzen said easily, "It seems that the so-called time and space ninjutsu of the Uzumaki country is nothing more than this." Utatane Kaharu smiled and said, "In terms of time and space ninjutsu, 2nd generation Musama is the originator of all the ninja world. We have the afterglow of 2nd generation Musama, and the country of Uzumaki dares to use time and space ninjutsu in Konoha. Humph, it's just a trick." Mitokado Homura held his beard and said calmly, "Even if you want to take back Nine Tails Jinchuriki, the kingdom of Whirlpool has to come over honestly." Several solemn hearts relaxed. As long as the kingdom of Whirlpool walks from the ground step by step. Even if they use their Shinigami army, they have a lot of room for maneuver. After all, Ninja War is not just a game about piling up numbers. Various traps, resources, food and grass, etc. on the land are all factors for absolute victory in the war. The war is about the economy. As for the country of Whirlpool, they are confident that they cannot compare to 1/10 of Konoha's economy. Only Orochimaru frowned slightly, the solemnity in his golden vertical pupils lingering for a long time. As someone who has witnessed the strength of the kingdom of Whirlpool with his own eyes, his own technology development bureau and other miraculous inventions, Orochimaru never thinks that a mere space blockade can stop the kingdom of Whirlpool. Tsunade was a little disappointed. She still wanted to wait for the people from the kingdom of Whirlpool to inquire about Naoki's existence. The other ninjas also laughed easily, and even joked with interest. Thanks to Hokage-sama for being so solemn, is this the result? It's just that we have used a little bit of our Konoha heritage, and the country of Whirlpool is at the end of its rope. Haha, the kingdom of Whirlpool that defeated the kingdom of water is nothing more than that. We, Konoha, are at war with Sunagakur. Let's see if this Uzumaki country dares to be so arrogant. The ninjas in the barrier class also breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the cold sweat from their foreheads. At the same time, I feel happy that I have completed the task. Just as we were preparing to celebrate, something unexpected happened. I saw a few clicks in the sky, and the cracks in space sealed by the flying thunder god's barrier suddenly enlarged. A golden light shines brightly, and the ancient and heavy door suddenly appears. The sudden change stunned everyone who had relaxed for a moment, but soon their hearts tightened. Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted, "Boundary class. Increase chakra output." The barrier team came to their senses at the voice of Master Hokage, and the blue chakra instantly gathered on the kunai with the flying thunder god rune. Roads of blue fireworks dyed the chains, clinging to the closed golden door. Crunch. 1. A series of teeth-shattering sounds sounded, and the enchantment class gritted their teeth and persisted. Suddenly, the golden door was slowly pushed open, and the flying thunder god's chain seemed like a child trying its best to suck milk, but it still couldn't shake the golden door at all. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes widened and his breathing stagnated, realizing that it might be impossible to block this door. How could be? They traveled to Konoha day and night, carefully studying the flying thunder god technique left by Master Second Generation. Finally, I came to the conclusion that as long as I use the flying thunder god technique that can also fluctuate the thread of space. If they form a joint force and disrupt the flow of space, it will be difficult for anyone to break through Konoha's space through time and space ninjutsu. As a ninja doctor, he nodded frequently when he heard such an unconstrained idea for the first time. I think this is the best way to deal with time and space ninjutsu. And in today's application, it produced better results than he expected. But this effect only lasted for a few seconds before it was broken by this ancient golden door. What exactly are the results of their research all this time? Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura looked embarrassed and clicked their toes. Just now, one person was boasting about second-generation master's excellent time and space ninjutsu, and the other one was shouting that he was the country of Whirlpool, and he had to walk to Konoha step by step. The result was an instant slap in the face. Not to mention them, even the other ninjas were blushing. Everyone looks down on the country of Whirlpool. Well, now their faces are all red. Only Orochimaru and Tsunade had the opposite expressions from the others. Seeing the effect he imagined, Orochimaru nodded slightly and secretly said that it was indeed the effect. This is the kingdom of Whirlpool in his impression. Why do you feel that you are a little blindly confident in the kingdom of Whirlpool? Orochimaru took a sneak peek at Sarutobi Hiruzen and found that teacher Sarutobi was staring closely at the giant golden door, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. I dare you not to see Mr. Sarutobi's actions just now, otherwise he would be criticized. But, you can't blame him. Who made the kingdom of Whirlpool become more important in his heart at this time? Even if he is now going to become an enemy of the country of Whirlpool, he is still thinking about the experiments of the country of Whirlpool. Tsunade became even more unabashedly happy. I finally endured it for a few days, waiting for the people from the kingdom of Whirlpool to arrive, but I almost didn't see them. Fortunately, the people from the kingdom of Whirlpool were powerful enough, and the situation was reversed instantly. Come on, country of Whirlpools. Tsunade silently encouraged the country of Uzumaki in his heart. In her opinion, although Konoha is also very important, her brother is obviously more important. What's more, today's Konoha is no longer Senju's Konoha. She could still shine a light on Konoha because she insisted on it because her grandfather founded Konoha. Besides, it's okay for the country of Whirlpool to come and take their own people back to their country. On the contrary, Konoha refused to let anyone go. She also understood the importance of Nine-Tails Jinchuriki to Konoha. But she also wondered, couldn't Konoha strive for its own best and develop a sealing technique that could seal tailed beasts without the physique of the Uzumaki clan? The blessing monk in Sunagakur is not from the Uzumaki clan, so how could he effectively seal one-tail Shukaku? This Konoha, without her grandpa and second grandpa, is really a bit worse. As for her teacher, after learning a few more ninjutsus, she dared to be called Dr. Ninja. Even her second grandfather didn't dare to call himself that. He even shamelessly made himself the strongest Hokage and wrote it into the ninja school textbook. You are the strongest Hokage, who is her grandfather? He was so shameless that Tsunade didn't even want to talk about some things. Therefore, she doesn't care what Konoha is like now. Will Konoha die without Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Tsunade's unabashed joy made Sarutobi Hiruzen's face twitch. Others couldn't help but cast their gaze. Tsunade-sama, whose side are you on? Orochimaru was silent for a moment, looking at Tsunade with admiration in his eyes. As expected of Tsunade, he easily accomplished what others could not do. At this moment, the giant golden door was finally pushed open completely, and the flying thunder god chain could no longer hold it up. With a bang, it turned into golden powder and disappeared into the air. The ninjas in the barrier class flew out one after another as if they had been hit hard. But at this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen and others were not in the mood to pay attention to the situation of the ninjas in the barrier class, and were staring at the golden gate. Konoha Death Forest, somewhere underground. Shimura Danzo's gloomy voice sounded. The kingdom of Whirlpool is finally here. HMPH, the so-called barrier is useless, Sarutobi, you are still too naive. Genjin half knelt on the ground and asked, Master Danzo, can't we take action? Shimura Danzo glanced at him and said coldly, one more route, and Konoha will not reverse the situation. One less route, and Konoha will not suffer any losses. We'll just wait and see what happens. Yes, Shimura Danzo narrowed his eyes slightly. With Uzumaki Mito and the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki around, Shimura Danzo is not worried about the situation in Konoha at all. Instead, he wanted to borrow the power of the country of Whirlpool to weaken Sarutobi's power. In this way, he will take the Hokage's position. Go further. At the Senju station, Uzumaki Kushina, who was learning the sealing technique from Uzumaki Mito, heard Konoha's voice and couldn't help but curiously said, Grandma Mito. What happened outside? Uzumaki Mito's face flashed with confusion, and then he quickly regained his composure and said kindly, it's okay, Kushina, just concentrate on practicing. Uzumaki Kushina nodded obediently and continued to study the sealing technique. Uzumaki Mito stared at Kushina's back and sighed deeply. Who would have thought that he and the Senju clan had advanced and retreated together, even until the Senju clan established Konoha? Will the country of Uzumaki, which still advances and retreats with Konoha, turn into an enemy of Konoha now? This world is really ever changing. Only hope. Don't go too far in the kingdom of Whirlpool. Konoha East Street. Under the spotlight, Hidao's petite figure appeared first. It is Rukia Kuchiki who has been acting as Uzumaki Chihiro's secretary and bodyguard. Now Rukia Kuchiki's strength has reached the captain level, and Uzumaki Chihiro did not hesitate to make her the captain of the 13th Division. After gaining the strength to be able to walk with the captain, and because of her special status as the secretary of Lord Soul King, she represents the will of Lord Soul King. So Rukia Kuchiki successfully took over and became the leader of this Konoha mission. When Rukia Kuchiki appeared, several other captains also appeared behind her. Ichimaru Jin squints his eyes and shows a snake-like smile, giving people the feeling of being suffocated by a snake wrapped around his neck. Sui Feng had an indifferent attitude, but every time he glanced at someone, that person suddenly felt a chill of panic behind him. Byakuya Kuchiki is ruthless and noble. Anyone who meets his eyes will feel as cold as falling into an ice cave. And the burly man standing at the end, 3 meters tall and wearing a mask, gave people a great sense of oppression. When the 4 captains appeared, they were followed by the vice captains, and the densely packed Shinigami Legion inside the boundary gate. A chilling atmosphere instantly enveloped Konoha. It was only then that the villagers of Konoha noticed something was not right. The way Master Hokage and the ninjas were waiting for him made their hearts sink even more. After living a peaceful life for a long time, they finally reacted. They Konoha, Shippei, were invaded. What kind of enemy is so bold and dares to invade Konoha, the #1 ninja village in the ninja world? Don't want to live anymore. -4.8 They have always lived under the glory of being the #1 in the Konoha shinobi world. They don't think this is a crisis for Konoha at all. Instead, they wonder if this force is being silly. But they didn't notice at all that their Hokage-sama had a serious look on his face. He also didn't consider that it was no longer the time for first Hokage and second Hokage. The kingdom of Whirlpool. Sarutobi Hiruzen stared at the group of Shinigami and muttered to himself. He has always learned about the situation in the country of Whirlpool from intelligence in other people's mouths, and finally met the Shinigami of the country of Whirlpool. With just one glance, he could feel the powerful aura coming towards him. Of course, they are not weak either. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a deep breath and looked around at everyone in Konoha. Except for Danzo, who still hasn't shown up. Behind him are Utatane Kaharu, Mitokado Homura, and the chiefs and people of the Uchiha clan and Hyuga clan. Plus his 2 outstanding disciples. Well, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly remembered the happy and rebellious look on his face after the Uzumaki kingdom broke through Konoha's seal. The corners of his mouth twitched. Can't help but hesitate. In matters of right and wrong, Tsunade shouldn't be willful, right? Of course, even without the combat power of Tsunade, Konoha still has Mito-sama to take care of everything. In addition to Mito-sama's tyrannical strength, the title of 9 Tails, the strongest tailed beast, is not just blown away. In short, the advantage lies with Konoha. Of course, this is just Sarutobi Hiruzen's worst-case scenario. In the end, we still need to negotiate with the representatives of the Whirlpool country first. If war can be avoided as much as possible, it is better to avoid it. Sarutobi Hiruzen calmed down, put on a false smile on his wrinkled face, and said, everyone from the country of Whirlpools is coming to Konoha in person. It's really disappointing to welcome them from afar. Rukia Kuchiki looked at the crooked ninjas of the barrier class, as if to say, is this how you welcome them? Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face suddenly stiffened. Chapter 57 The 3-day period has come, welcome Uzumaki Kushina back to China. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face froze, but the thick-skinned man quickly calmed down and continued to maintain his chrysanthemum smile. At the same time, the words of the third Hokage reached the ears of the people of Konoha village, and they were a little confused. The Kingdom of Whirlpool, isn't that Konoha's ally since ancient times? Although the villagers understand the form of the ninja world, they do not know some of the inside stories. Especially regarding the dirty things about Konoha, it is impossible for the top management of Konoha to let them know. Otherwise, wouldn't Konoha's glorious image be shattered? Therefore, the people of Konoha village did not know that Konoha was treacherous, took advantage of the situation, took away the sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan, and even made the Uzumaki clan become Ninetales Jinchuriki. Therefore, when the third Hokage said this, they really thought that the country of Whirlpool was a guest. Only, isn't this way of being a guest a little too sudden? Moreover, what happened to the ninjas who just flew out upside down? Since the Kingdom of Whirlpool is a guest, why do the ninjas want to evacuate them? Also, why do these ninja adults have such solemn expressions? But soon, they knew why these Konoha shinobi were like this. Rukia Kuchiki looked around at everyone in Konoha, and finally focused on Sarutobi Hiruzen. She looked calmly and said coldly, the 3-day period has come, and the country of Whirlpool has come to take back the Uzumaki tribe. Should you, Konoha, obediently hand it over, or should we, the Uzumaki country, take it ourselves? Mitokado Homura was furious and was very annoyed by Rukia Kuchiki's contemptuous tone, and then wanted to step forward. But he was quickly stopped by Udatane Kaharu. Udatane Kaharu was also very annoyed with Rukia Kuchiki's tone, and an unknown fire rose in his heart. But she glanced at the silent Sarutobi Hiruzen, not knowing his decision, so she could only suppress her anger temporarily and stopped Mitokado Homura. The other Konoha shinobi also stared angrily, their chests rising and falling, holding back their anger. It's always been Konoha who show off their power in the ninja world, but when did they get insulted at home? During the first Hokage, when people from Konoha went out, people from other countries would not dare to speak loudly when they saw them. When have you ever been so angry? But they also know that Konoha today is different from before. Since the death of first Hokage-sama, any ninja village can challenge Konoha. Today's Konoha 22 is trapped in the quagmire of the war with Sunagaku and lacks military strength. Therefore, the eyes of these Konoha shinobi were bloodshot as they looked at the densely packed Shinigami legions behind the Golden Gate. They can endure it a little longer. But only a little, no more. At this time, the people of Konoha village finally noticed some problems. Something's wrong. Something is very wrong. Isn't this Uzumaki country their ally of Konoha? Aren't you here to be a guest in Konoha? Why does this look a bit like someone looking for trouble? Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a while to calm down the anger in his heart. As the third Hokage of Konoha, this is the first time someone dares to speak to him like this. And she's a girl who looks even younger than Tsunade. But, he took a deep breath and suppressed his anger. Although in his opinion, Konoha's high-end strength advantage lies in Konoha. But the strength of the middle and low-level troops is a bit dwarfed by comparison. And now they are in Konoha village. Once a war breaks out, it will cause considerable losses to Konoha. Even many villagers will be affected by the fighting. As the Hokage of Konoha, he is responsible for Konoha and the villagers of Konoha. For these reasons, he can endure it even longer. He forced a smile and said, as for Uzumaki Kushina, I think we can still discuss it. The country of Whirlpool, Seraiti. Uzumaki Chihiro opened his eyes slightly and looked at the picture of Konoha on the monitor carefully. Especially the look of Sarutobi Hiruzen really opened his eyes. Is this really the shadow of a village? This is all humiliating you in your home. It's like you have been R******D by someone else, but you can still tolerate it so much. Can you continue to compromise? This is really shameless. At least Kurigaku's third Mizukage died standing. Sarutobi Hiruzen, you are truly a ninja bear. No wonder so many ridiculous things happen in Konoha in the original novel. With such a leader here, it's impossible not to think about chaos. Konoha, Udatane Kaharu and Mizuto looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen in disbelief. It seems like this is the first time I discovered that Sarutobi Hiruzen has this face. Shinobi. This title is not a contemptuous one. Judging from Sarutobi Hiruzen's various performances, he is indeed worthy of this title. B4. Maybe it was just for the safety of the people of Konoha village that Sarutobi Hiruzen made such a compromise. Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura comforted themselves in this way, but there was a trace of hesitation in their hearts. Orochimaru was also surprised for a moment, and then fell into silence. Teacher, are you old too? Have you lost your old ambition? He suddenly remembered what teacher Sarutobi had always said. Orochimaru, when I grow old, the position of 4th Hokage will be yours. Now it seems that if Hokage is like this, it seems that this Hokage's position doesn't seem to attract him that much. Tsunade's expression didn't change at all. Perhaps she is the one who has seen the most obvious changes in Sarutobi Hiruzen. There is no disappointment or surprise that Sarutobi Hiruzen can make this move. After all, she has done too many shameless things and seen too many shameless things, and she has become numb. I can only sigh in my heart from time to time. Second grandpa, look at who you gave Konoha to. But in Tsunade's opinion, Shimura Danzo, Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura are not good people either. Completely the same thing. Her second grandfather lived a wise life, invented various forbidden techniques, established various policies, and led to new developments in the entire ninja world. As a result, his vision was not very good, and his good reputation and Konoha were all ruined by a few apprentices. The only one who looks pretty good is Uchiha. Moreover, that Uchiha Kagami also died in a certain mission with Shimura Danzo. The smell of decay in this Konoha is getting stronger and stronger. The base of the root. A gloomy laughter suddenly sounded from the dark underground. Haha, Sarutobi, you are old after all, and you would make such a confused decision. Shimura Danzo unabashedly mocked such Sarutobi Hiruzen. If it were me sitting in that position, I wouldn't be able to compromise like Sarutobi. Humph. Although he said that, Konoha was facing a crisis at this time, and Shimura Danzo still had no idea of acting. A cold light flashed through his one eye, and he murmured to himself, I'm doing this all for Konoha. Konoha East Street. Rukia Kuchiki was also shocked by Sarutobi Hiruzen's shamelessness. She frowned and said, you old guy, are you really the shadow of a village? This is the first time she has seen such a leader without dignity, such a shameless strong man. Nawaki. At this moment, Tsunade suddenly exclaimed, attracting everyone's attention. Tsunade was just looking at the Shinigami Legion out of boredom, but she actually saw a very familiar face. With that short brown hair and two iconic red cheeks, who else could it be if it wasn't Nawaki? It's just that Nawaki today has undergone tremendous changes from when he was in Konoha. Not only has he grown a lot taller, but he is also wearing a calm black Death Tyrant outfit, with a knife on his waist, which makes him look a bit like that. This change made Tsunade subconsciously afraid to recognize him. But as soon as he opened his mouth, he returned to Tsunade's familiar silly look. This look actually made Tsunade breathe a sigh of relief. This was really her stupid brother. Senju Nawaki scratched his head, why does it feel like someone keeps calling his name recently? He looked at the woman who called his name. It was obvious that he did not know such a woman. Senju Nawaki muttered. I really don't understand. Even Rukia Kuchiki paid a little attention to Tsunade. Did this woman know Nawaki before she was alive? Tsunade spoke out, but in disguise, he saved Sarutobi Hiruzen. At least no one is paying attention to him now. Really Senju Nawaki. Some ninjas who had seen the heir to the Senju family opened their mouths slightly with disbelief on their faces. Others also looked over, their eyes slightly dazed. How can it be? Isn't Senju Nawaki already? At this point, their voices gradually became quieter, for fear that Tsunade would hear them and punch them. Even Shimura Danzo, who was secretly peeping at the battle, was shocked when he saw Senju Nawaki's face. Quick, go to the laboratory to confirm if Senju Nawaki's heart is still alive. Soon, the members of the root came back and reported, Master Danzo, there is nothing strange about Senju Nawaki's heart. Shimura Danzo's eyes widened when he heard the news. Could it be that I saw it? Thinking of this, Shimura Danzo suddenly felt guilty. Mad, are you here to ask for his life? Konoha East Street. The rustling sound of discussion could not help but make Sarutobi Hiruzen, Utatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura look sideways. When he saw that familiar face, his pupils were like an earthquake, trembling uncontrollably. It turns out to be Senju Nawaki. Sarutobi Hiruzen could no longer maintain his hypocritical face and exclaimed. His expression was as if he had seen a ghost. Or maybe he really has seen a ghost. Senju Nawaki is obviously dead. Moreover, the autopsy was also conducted by Konoha. After confirming Senju Nawaki's body, Sarutobi Hiruzen personally cancelled his ninja number. But what's going on now? Resurrection from the dead. Or is Senju Nawaki not dead at all? Did Konoha's autopsy make a mistake? But if Senju Nawaki was not dead, how could he hang out with the people of the Whirlpool country? And it seems that he has successfully penetrated into the kingdom of Whirlpool and became a Shinigami. He even came to Konoha through the time and space ninjutsu of the kingdom of Whirlpool, looking like an enemy. What kind of fuss is this? Even if Tsunade is rebellious, why is Nawaki so rebellious? Do not forget, this is the Konoha your grandfather created. Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to say this out loud. But after thinking about it carefully, I was really afraid that for this reason, the Senju clan asked him to hand over the position of Hokage. So forget it, after all, he has only held this position for a few years, and he hasn't had enough yet. Moreover, maybe it would be a good thing for Konoha that Senju Nawaki enters the country of Whirlpool. What's going on? As he said, Senju Nawaki is from Konoha after all, and Konoha is also the village founded by his grandfather. Here are his roots. No matter how you think about it, it's impossible to do anything detrimental to Konoha, right? Moreover, with Senju Nawaki as Konoha's chess piece in the kingdom of Whirlpool, he can also reveal information about the kingdom of Whirlpool to Konoha at any time. Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally classified Senju Nawaki as the spy who penetrated Konoha into the kingdom of Whirlpool. As everyone knows, this is just wishful thinking on his part. Sarutobi Hiruzen remembered the previous information about Orochimaru and looked carefully at the saber on Senju Nawaki's waist. That is, the sealed state that Spiritual Arts Academy receives for free. Well done, Nawaki. As long as you get all the Muji ninjutsu from the land of Whirlpool and the technology to forge Zanpakuto, it will be the time when Konoha will regain its glory. But soon, Senju Nawaki's words broke his dream. Who are you? Why do you seem to know me? Senju Nawaki scratched his head and blinked with a strange look on his face. As soon as these words came out, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face froze and his heart dropped. What's the situation? Senju Nawaki doesn't know them. Oh, he understood, this must all be Nawaki's disguise. Alas, it's their fault for accidentally exposing Nawaki. With so many people in Konoha acting like they knew him, they definitely couldn't hide it from the country of Whirlpool now. In this case, it is better to stop pretending 753 and quickly return to the embrace of Konoha. Otherwise, the sealed state that was finally obtained would be taken back by the kingdom of Whirlpool. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt anxious and said seriously, "Okay Naoki, Grandpa already knows your good intentions. Now that it has been exposed, come back quickly." When others heard Third Hokage's words, they suddenly realized. That's it. Senju Naoki died because he was trying to break into the kingdom of Whirlpool. Then didn't they expose Senju Naoki's identity? They deserve to die. Even Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura looked sideways at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Their eyes seemed to say, "I didn't expect this, Sarutobi, you actually have such a trick." Even Tsunade hesitated. Is it possible that Naoki really faked his death? But she also confirmed the autopsy, and it was indeed Naoki's body. But the Naoki in front of me does not make sense. Only Orochimaru looked weird. His respected teacher Sarutobi may really become a clown. Sarutobi Hiruzen had a kind face and waved to Senju Naoki. Quick. Come to Grandpa. You have made great contributions to Konoha. Grandpa will protect you. Rukia Kuchiki pursed her lips hard to ensure that she would not burst out laughing. Is this so-called Konoha Hokage a monkey invited from the circus? Don't tell me, it's really like that. Senju Naoki felt embarrassed and said, "Hey, what's going on with you old monkey? Who knows you? Old monkey." Sarutobi Hiruzen's face froze again. At this time, Tsunade finally realized something was wrong and frowned. "Naoki, do you really not remember me?" Senju Naoki said impatiently. "Who are you?" Tsunade's face darkened. This stinky brother actually dares to forget his only sister, and she is still so worried about him. Moreover, this stinky brother was living a good life in the kingdom of Whirlpool, but he didn't even send a single message to her. Let her be sad and troubled all day long. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. Tsunade's fists clenched loudly. It seems that I must give my bratty brother an iron fist of love to help him recall his sister's deep love for him. As soon as Tsunade stepped forward, the ground suddenly cracked, and he instantly appeared above Senju Naoki, with his diary fist smashing down from top to bottom. If that's the case, then sister will let you reminisce about the memories. Senju Naoki calmly turned his head to avoid Tsunade's fist. During this period, he did not learn in vain under the guidance of Captain Ichimaru. Dodging the blow, Senju Naoki responded quickly with white hits taijutsu and a whip kick. Tsunade subconsciously used the habit of teaching Naoki a lesson. He was completely unprepared and hit the whip forcefully. Tsunade took a few steps back and said with a surprised look on his face, "Are you talented?" But soon she felt embarrassed and annoyed at being resisted by her younger brother who had always bullied her. He wielded a strange force with great force. Senju Naoki calmly raised his index finger and said, "Hado number 4. White Thunder." Tsunade's pupils shrank suddenly. This kid is actually serious. Chapter 58 Senju Naoki. Wake up, flower and tree world. Interesting for you. The 7 most famous plus-size models in the world. More. 215. 54. 72. Hado number 4. White Thunder. A blue-white lightning burst out from Senju Naoki's fingertips and struck Tsunade quickly. Tsunade's pupils shrank suddenly. This guy Naoki is actually serious. Tsunade suddenly increased the output of chakra, and chakra as deep as the flames of the abyss quickly condensed on his white and tender fist. The arms wrapped in chakra are protected in front of the body, isolating the lightning that strikes quickly. Crack. Tsunade's body became numb, and his arms were a little scorched. Wisps of green smoke rose up on his arms, making people feel pain in their arms just by looking at them. But Tsunade seemed to feel no pain and turned a blind eye to the burnt blackness on his arms. He just stared at Senju Naoki and said in a deep voice, "Naoki, are you going to kill your sister?" If she were not the one who received this blow, she would be injured immediately. Because this lightning was directed at her head, Tsunade really couldn't believe that her own brother would dare to do such a cruel thing to her. Even other people in Konoha couldn't help but gulp when they saw this scene. These siblings are serious. How much hatred is there? Sarutobi Hiruzen was suddenly relieved. Without comparison, there is no harm. Senju Naoki is about to kill his relatives out of justice, so calling him old monkey doesn't seem so uncomfortable anymore. But what is going on with Senju Naoki? It's okay if you don't recognize animal husbandry, but you don't even recognize your own relatives. Stop pretending to fit it in for yourself, right? Do you really think of yourself as a person from the kingdom of Whirlpool? These thoughts flashed through his mind, but what Sarutobi Hiruzen was most concerned about was actually the Muji ninjutsu released by Senju Naoki before. Hado 4 White Thunder. The speed of Mayan ninjutsu is indeed fast enough. Something's wrong. Something's very wrong. Orochimaru frowned slightly. This Naoki, no matter in appearance, personality, or even every behavior and habit, is the Naoki they are familiar with. But in Naoki's eyes, Orochimaru did see a sense of strangeness arising spontaneously. Perhaps, Naoki is not just pretending. He really doesn't remember. Rukia Kuchiki and others quietly watched the interaction between Senju Naoki and Tsunade. In fact, they all understand that these Konoha people are indeed Senju Naoki's relatives, friends, and companions during his lifetime. But they had no intention of worrying that Naoki would be seduced away by people from Konoha. After all, any soul living in Rukongai will forget everything in his life. From the moment they woke up from Rukongai in the soul state, in their cognition, they were already separated from everything in their lives, and they were the people of the kingdom of Whirlpool. What's more, after becoming a Shinigami, Senju Naoki only has the will of the Soul King in his heart. Moreover, Lord Soul King also said before that he wanted Senju Naoki to give Konoha a little shock. In this case, Rukia Kuchiki doesn't mind handing over Konoha's stage to Senju Naoki first. As long as you can please the Spirit King. The drama of siblings meeting again and turning against each other will definitely bring a lot of joy to the Spirit King. Senju Station. Uzumaki Mito closed his eyes tightly, covering the entire Konoha with Kagura's hard eye, sensing where Sarutobi Hiruzen and others were fighting against the Shinigami of the country of Whirlpool. When she saw Senju Naoki, she opened her eyes suddenly. A look of disbelief flashed through her eyes, but she quickly calmed down and continued to read Naoki, again and again carefully. It wasn't until a few minutes later that she let out a heavy sigh, with complicated eyes, and murmured, "It's really Naoki." Even though Naoki no longer had the familiar chakra in her body at this time, she could still remember Naoki's aura very clearly after developing Kagura's inner eyed ultimate. In her many perceptions, that child was indeed Naoki. She also felt Naoki's body back and forth countless times, and was very sure that the child was really dead. For this reason, she secretly felt sad for a long time. Just to prevent Tsunade and Kushina from worrying, I acted like everything was fine in front of them. But now, the person who was obviously dead suddenly appears again. And they actually disagreed and drew swords against their own sisters. All kinds of strange signs make Uzumaki Mito puzzled. I also understand that all this is due to the country. Her eyes were deep and complex as she stared into the giant golden door. It seems that he wants to see the person behind the door through the golden curtain. She murmured. Uzumaki Chihiro. The news I heard from Sarutobi Hiruzen, my own Orochimaru's description of the Soul King. She is already very convinced that the current ruler of the Uzumaki country, the so-called Soul King, is Uzumaki Chihiro, the sole heir of the Uzumaki country. Therefore, the reconstruction of the Kingdom of Whirlpool is justified. The Kingdom of Whirlpool has not been occupied by other forces. The country of Whirlpool still belongs to the Uzumaki clan. Therefore, it is legal to ask Konoha for Uzumaki Kushina this time. After all, he is a member of his family, so it is natural for him to go back to the country of Whirlpool. Even if this matter is considered in the ninja world, it will receive support from other countries. But she also knows Konoha and her situation. Konoha, we cannot lose Nine Tails Jinchuriki. However, I'm afraid it won't be what Konoha wants this time. The country of Whirlpool is coming fiercely, and I'm afraid it won't give up until we get Uzumaki Kushina. Moreover, the strangeness of a dead person suddenly appearing in front of them made her a little uneasy. This reminded her of a forbidden technique that Tobirama once created that played with the souls of deceased people. Impure world reincarnation. The vicious forbidden technique that can recall the souls of the dead from the pure world to fight for themselves. Uzumaki Mito's eyes turned cold. Although the kingdom of Uzumaki is famous this time, if she dares to play with Naoki's soul, she will never let the kingdom of Uzumaki go. It's just that Naoki's current state is very wrong. Because judging from the introduction of impure world reincarnation, even if the behavior is controlled by the caster, it is inevitable to draw swords with those close to you. But the memory of his life will not be lost. So, what happened to Naoki? Uzumaki Chihiro, what exactly do you want to do? Naoki, what exactly do you want to do? On Konoha East Street, Tsunade's face darkened and he asked Naoki. She simply didn't believe that Naoki would really forget him, and even put her to death. The charred black and bright green light on her arms rose, and the charred black skin gradually fell off, revealing new white and tender skin. Senju Naoki frowned, feeling inexplicably irritable. He really doesn't know these people. He is clearly Shinigami, a citizen of the country of Uzumaki, the enemy of the Hollow, and the loyal minister of the Soul King. Only this so-called Konoha is not familiar at all, let alone the people here. What if, after what they say, his colleagues misunderstand that he is really from this village? How can he survive in Seraiti? Besides, this place called Konoha made him feel sick. When he came to Konoha to perform a mission, in order to better complete the mission, he specifically found someone to learn about Konoha. The #1 ninja village in the ninja world, the richest country, there once appeared the ninja god Senju Hashirama who suppressed the ninja world, and the ninja Shira who was trembling in the fat ninja world. All kinds of glorious deeds made him dizzy when he heard them. Especially the person with the same surname as him, Senju, made his eyes brighten, and he wanted to become such a powerful person. But after reading the recent information about Konoha, Senju Naoki developed a deep dislike for this place. I really can't believe that this so-called glamorous and great ninja village has some alliance agreements with them in the country of Whirlpool. The kingdom of Whirlpool also helped Konoha many times in accordance with the agreement. As a result, it was the Uzumaki country's turn to be in trouble, and Konoha not only refused to lend a helping hand, but actually added insult to injury. If it hadn't been for the great power of the Soul King to turn the tide, I'm afraid the country of Whirlpool would no longer exist in the ninja world at this time. As a citizen of the kingdom of Whirlpool, no matter who you are, you have heard this story about the farmer and the snake. It all makes them angry. What's even more disgusting is that these people from Konoha actually dare to imprison the Soul King's clan, hoping that the Uzumaki clan will become the tools of the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Unforgivable. Senju Naoki took a deep breath, and his eyes gradually became cold. Tsunade's heart sank when he saw Naoki's unfamiliar appearance. He opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Senju Naoki's movement. He slowly pulled out the Zanpakuto from his waist, pointed at Tsunade expressionlessly, and said coldly, I told you, I don't know you, let alone from this disgusting village. I, Senju Naoki, a native of the Uzumaki country, the Shinigami of the Seraiti, a loyal subject of Lord Soul King. The direction where Lord Soul King's sword points is the direction I am heading. As for what I'm going to do, Senju Naoki's eyes were even colder. Of course I'm here to pick up Lord Spirit King's clan members to go home. Seeing Naoki like this, Tsunade looked dazed and murmured, No, you are obviously a native of Konoha. You are my naughty little brother. Orochimaru came near Tsunade and said in a slightly hoarse voice, Tsunade, maybe the Naoki in front of you is not lying. How is it possible? She is Naoki's sister, how could we forget her? Orochimaru's eyes flashed slightly, and he murmured, Is this the price of remaining in this world as a soul? Another discovery about the soul made his body tremble slightly with excitement. The mystery of the soul really made him so excited. Cost. Tsunade heard Orochimaru's murmur, grabbed Orochimaru's collar, looked horrified, and said coldly, Orochimaru, do you know the reason why Naoki is like this? Orochimaru smiled nonchalantly and said, Even if I say it, you probably won't believe it. His eyes were deep and he said quietly, After this matter is over, why not go to the kingdom of Whirlpool in person? Someone there may give you the answer. Tsunade looked at her deeply, and then let him go unhappily. Mad, I hate the Riddler the most. In the corner where no one was paying attention, Sarutobi Hiruzen blushed. With his appearance, Senju Naoki seems to have been naturalized by the kingdom of Whirlpool. Fortunately, he had confidently allowed Senju Naoki to return to Konoha's arms. I've really lost all my face today. Especially the glances Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura cast from time to time made him feel like a ray of light on his back. Only then did everyone in Konoha understand. Senju Naoki, the heir to the Senju clan, the grandson of Lord First Hokage, and the brother of Lord Tsunade, has really become their enemy. Senju Naoki pointed the knife at everyone in Konoha and looked at Rukia Kuchiki. After all, his current position is just a seat manager. If he wants to take any action, he still needs to ask. Show this to the captains. Logically speaking, with his power of being able to Shikai, he is already qualified to become the vice captain. But now all the vice captains of Gote 13 have positions, so they can only stay in the seat manager position for the time being. After waiting, Uzumaki Chihiro may consider expanding Gote 13. After all, there are still many geniuses in the ninja world. Rukia Kuchiki saw Senju Naoki's request and nodded slightly. Now that the Soul King has said it, I'm looking forward to Senju Naoki's performance. Then it would be a good idea to hand over the opening ceremony of this Konoha performance to Senju Naoki. After receiving Rukia Kuchiki's approval, Senju Naoki glanced coldly at everyone in Konoha. The lips moved slightly and spit out a few words. Wake up, Washu. With a buzz, Senju Naoki's Zanpakuto changes. The blade of the knife, glowing with cold light, suddenly twisted, and the brown upper body turned into thick twigs from the handle. A broken branch extends from the branch, and at the top of the branch, pink buds stand quietly, looking like they are in bud. At the handle of the knife, twigs extend to Senju Naoki's right arm. Soon, thick twigs wrapped around his right arm, like an arm armor. From time to time, a budding pink flower grows on its body. Like a delicate playboy, the changes in Senju Naoki caused the entire Konoha to fall into silence. Everyone's eyes were dull, staring blankly at Senju Naoki, or rather at the knife that turned into a tree in Senju Naoki's hand. As if seeing something incredible, everyone's eyes widened. Uzumaki Chihiro, who was far away in the country of Whirlpool, saw this scene through the monitor and felt happy both physically and mentally. That's right, that's the expression. Dima Zhao, first Hokage Senju Hashirama is a myth after all in the hearts of the people of Konoha. The first-hand wood style is even more widely circulated, and is even called the strongest blood inheritance limit. Now that this wood style has appeared again, how could we not talk about it? Konoha, East Street. It wasn't until someone in the crowd swallowed their saliva that the silent atmosphere was broken. Asterisk. Someone shivered and murmured in disbelief. Really, is it Shodai's wood style? The impact of wood style's appearance was so huge that they could not recover for a long time. Even Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura were shocked. When they looked at each other, they could see the horror in each other's eyes. How is it possible that wood style is here at this time? Sarutobi Hiruzen clenched his fists, and the horror in his eyes was undisguised. As someone who has witnessed the power of Shodai wood style with his own eyes, he knows the power of wood style very well. Even after wood style disappeared and he succeeded third Hokage, he organized experiments on wood style's awakening plan. Unfortunately, Shodai's cells were too powerful. No one could match Shodai's cells, and all those who participated in the experiment became useless. Even people from the Senju clan are no exception. But now, the living wood style appears in front of him again, how can he not be shocked? And this person who uses wood style is actually Shodai's grandson. It seems reasonable for Shodai's grandson to awaken to wood style. Sarutobi Hiruzen felt regret flashing through his heart. Why didn't he think of letting Shodai's direct bloodline conduct experiments in the first place? If I had this idea at the beginning, maybe there would be wood style users in day by now. The results are better now. Good news, someone in the Senju clan has finally awakened to Shodai's wood style. Bad news, Senju Nawaki, who awakened wood style, has become an enemy of Konoha. What is this called? Chapter 59 Nine Tails. There are beings similar to me in those knives. Interesting for you. The 7 most famous plus-size models in the world. More. 676. 169. 225. The regret in Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes became more intense. He didn't regret not protecting Senju Nawaki, but he regretted not sending Senju Nawaki to the experimental platform when he conducted the Shodai cell transplant experiment. Otherwise, how could Konoha, which had regained its wood style, be entangled in the war with Sunagakure until now? But now Senju Nawaki has become a member of the Whirlpool country, and even stands on the opposite side of Konoha, as if he wants Konoha to look good. By now, I'm afraid it's too late to do anything. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Tsunade vaguely. Since Shodai's grandson can awaken wood style, there is no reason that Shodai's granddaughter cannot awaken wood style. After this incident is over, discuss with Tsunade and let her take the initiative to conduct Shodai cell transplant experiments. Even though Tsunade has become more and more rebellious recently, Sarutobi Hiruzen still believes that as long as he uses emotion and reason, Tsunade will understand him. After all, Tsunade doesn't want to see Konoha created by Shodai becoming more and more lonely, right? Sarutobi Hiruzen felt excited, as if he once again saw the future of Konoha's most powerful ninja world with wood style. He stared at Senju Nawaki's appearance with bright eyes, and his heart was burning. But at the same time, he has not forgotten why Senju Nawaki was able to awaken wood style. Zanpakuto of the land of whirlpools. Obviously when he was in Konoha, Senju Nawaki showed no sign of awakening wood style. As a result, I went to the kingdom of Whirlpool, and through the guidance of that knife, I was able to awaken the calendar area of wood style. Sarutobi Hiruzen does not believe that the country of Whirlpool also possesses Shodai cells and can conduct Shodai cell transplantation experiments. In other words, the Zanpakuto of the Whirlpool country is more terrifying than they imagined. Not only does it possess various magical powers, it can even guide the user to awaken the power hidden in their blood. This knife is really becoming more and more tempting. After this incident is over, the plan to transport Konoha students to the country of Whirlpool cannot be delayed. Be sure to get Zanpakuto's forging technology from the country of Uzumaki. Orochimaru stared closely at the changes in Senju Nawaki, and couldn't help but lick his lips, his eyes passionate. Shodai's wood style. As the leader of the original Hashirama cell transplant experiment, he witnessed the terrifying phagocytosis of Hashirama cells with his own eyes. Once Hashirama cells are transplanted, the subject will turn into a lifeless piece of wood in just a few minutes. This shows the horror of wood style. Now, this terrifying wood style has finally appeared in Konoha again. Only this time, wood style has become Konoha's enemy. Of course, Orochimaru didn't care about this. What he really cared about was the Zanpakuto in Nawaki's hand. The existence of this kind of knife 580 may be more terrifying than he imagined. It was precisely because I went to the country of Whirlpool and witnessed too many realities of the country of Whirlpool. Only Orochimaru will feel the mystery of Zanpakuto more and more. And Nawaki's knife, which was similar to wood style, made him have a lot more guesses. It is clear that the Nawaki in front of us has become a spirit body, but how can he awaken the power of wood style through Zanpakuto? B. Zanpakuto has the ability to manifest the abilities hidden deep in the soul. This speculation made Orochimaru's heart beat faster, and he felt that he was getting closer to Shinigami's truth. His eyes vaguely swept across the many Shinigami on the Uzumaki countryside, and they corresponded to the contents of Konoha's intelligence. Fire-type Zanpakuto, Ice-type Zanpakuto, Zanpakuto that can stretch and retract freely and is so fast that it is invisible to the naked eye, Zanpakuto that has the ability to become gigantic, etc. This ability varies, and what's even more amazing is that no one ability is the same. It's so addictive. Orochimaru's golden pupils flashed slightly. Everything in the kingdom of Whirlpool is so addictive. It seemed like a mysterious and bottomless abyss, which attracted him so deeply that he couldn't help but fall. Sooner or later, he will go to the kingdom of Whirlpool. The truth of Shinigami, the mystery of the soul. His eyes lit up. He was determined to be the director of the Technology Development Bureau of the country of Whirlpool. The emergence of wood style brought great shock to everyone in Konoha. They seemed to see the figure of Shodai in Senju Nawaki. What is surprising is that Shodai's eyes seemed to be looking in the direction of Senju Nawaki on the Konoha Hokage rock. Among the crowd, the one who was most shocked was probably Tsunade. She bit her lip and looked at Nawaki with shock, surprise, and joy in her eyes. His eyes seemed to be suddenly wet uncontrollably. She knew too well the importance of Konoha to the Senju clan. That's right, it's not Konoha, it's the people. Since the grandfather and the second grandfather left one after another, Senju's decline is like pressing the accelerator button. Since Sarutobi Hiruzen came to power, apart from Grandma Mito, she and Nawaki, the now huge Senju clan has only a few servants left. The Senju clan seemed to have suddenly disappeared from Konoha. The once glorious family no longer has its former glory. She also hated herself for not inheriting her grandfather's wood style, so that their Senju could continue or even restore the glory of their grandfather's generation. It's a pity that since my grandfather passed away, no one in this huge family has been able to awaken wood style. Gradually, Senju came to an end on the stage of Konoha. With the death of Senju Nawaki, he completely lost his qualification to continue to take office. She also gradually became disheartened and no longer paid attention to Konoha's affairs. Fortunately, Naoki stood in front of her again intact today. He even grew taller and learned some skills, and now he dared to hit his sister hard. In addition, the wood style that left a deep impression on the ninja world also reappeared in Naoki. Tsunade was filled with excitement. As long as Naoki is here, maybe Senju can regain its former glory. But soon, Tsunade calmed down, because Naoki was no longer the Naoki before. He no longer remembers everything about Konoha, and he even forgot her sister. But Tsunade always believed that she would be able to bring Naoki back intact. Although Orochimaru also said that as long as he goes to the country of Whirlpool, he can get the answer he wants. But now that Naoki has appeared in Konoha, wouldn't it be okay to just keep him? As for memories, as long as Naoki is by her side, she will remember them one day. Tsunade's eyes hardened. Senju Station, seeing Naoki suddenly release wood style, Uzumaki Mito's expression flashed with surprise. Hashirama. In a daze, she seemed to see Hashirama's silly smile. She chuckled. Naoki, he is exactly the same as your grandfather. What Uzumaki Mito is talking about is not his appearance, but his foolish look. Your wood style has finally appeared in the Senju clan. The Senju clan you left behind has been run into disarray by her. At least with Naoki's appearance, I hope that when she goes to the Pure Land, Tianjin and Tobirama will not blame her. Although Naoki became enemies with Konoha for some unknown reason, Uzumaki Mito's eyes when looking at Naoki were still full of love and relief. The Senju clan finally has a successor. But the kingdom of Whirlpool has really become unrecognizable to her. This group of troops suddenly appeared and called themselves Shinigami. Although there is no chakra, why can it master various magical abilities? Uzumaki Chihiro, what on earth are you studying? HMPH. A snorting voice sounded from the bottom of her heart. Uzumaki Mito didn't panic at all, as if he was used to this sudden sound, and said calmly, why Nine Tails, what kind of wind woke you up? Since becoming Nine Tails Jinchuriki, Nine Tails has either been sleeping or on the way to sleep every day, and is simply lazier than a pig. Nine Tails said angrily, hey Mito. I heard all the complaints in your heart. Also, you are locked in to see what else you can do besides sleeping. Uzumaki Mito said, oh, lightly. Even if Nine Tails heard what he was saying, he was not embarrassed at all. In other words, Uzumaki Mito just said it to it on purpose. Nine Tails made an unhappy sound, then suddenly thought of something, and gloated. Haha Mito, now you Konoha are really in big trouble. Uzumaki Mito's original indifference to Nine Tails suddenly made waves. She frowned slightly and said, what do you know? Nine Tails snorted proudly, turned his head to the side, and ignored her. Seeing its appearance, Uzumaki Mito raised his eyebrows and said calmly, I'll give you a chance to share my sight with me for a day. Nine Tails' ears moved, but still did not speak. Uzumaki Mito continued. 3 days. Nine Tails' tail, CCEC, moved, but still did not speak. Uzumaki Mito frowned and continued. 5 days. After hearing this for 5 days, Nine Tails quietly opened her eyes, savored Uzumaki Mito's emotional changes, and understood that this should be her bottom line. So Nine Tails cleared his throat and said solemnly, I sensed existences similar to mine in the knives of those people. Uzumaki Mito's eyes widened instantly and he said in disbelief, you mean, those Shinigami swords have tailed beasts sealed inside them? Shinigami. Nine Tails murmured this title in his mind, and then explained. No, it's not a tailed beast, but a being similar to us. In other words, are they other creatures besides humans? In other words, is it something similar to chakra aggregates? After all, tailed beasts are formed by the convergence of chakra. And there are existences similar to tailed beasts in the Shinigami's swords. This discovery is really amazing. Uzumaki Mito narrowed his eyes slightly and seemed to have discovered a big secret of the country of Whirlpool. Could it be that those swords are in a form similar to Jinchuriki? It has the same effect as sealing the tailed beast in the human body. The only difference is that the kingdom of Whirlpool sealed those existences similar to the tailed beasts in the sword. Hiss. The country of Whirlpool. No, the Uzumaki clan is really a clan that is good at creating miracles. This kind of technology, which can seal existences like tailed beasts in swords, once it flows into the ninja world, it will once again set off major changes in the ninja world. The last time this kind of change happened, it was the Uzumaki clan who developed a Jinchuriki that could seal the tailed beasts that the ninja world had no control over in the human body and use their power S. Now, the technology sealed in the sword has been developed again. What is this, Totsuriki? Uzumaki Mito forced himself to calm down. At the same time, some of the questions in my mind suddenly became clear. No wonder the kingdom of Whirlpool rose so suddenly and so quickly. Just seal the existence similar to the tailed beast in the sword, and then give everyone one. You can mass-produce strong men who can use all kinds of weird abilities. And this method is indeed in line with the Uzumaki clan's consistent behavior. After all, the Uzumaki clan has been experts in the art of sealing since ancient times. Case solved. She has fully understood the principles of forging Zanpakuto in the land of Uzumaki. It's useless at all. The most critical sealing technique is firmly controlled by the kingdom of Whirlpool. Even if others know the principle, they can't create it at all. Rather, can this sealing technique really be developed? Even she, a member of the Uzumaki clan and the Grand Master of the sealing technique, has no clue about this unorthodox sealing technique. In other words, there is a being who can use wood style sealed in the knife on the rope. Uzumaki Mito was thoughtful, and a new doubt emerged. Where did the Kingdom of Whirlpool find so many creatures with special abilities? Moreover, if there is a creature that can use wood style, it is impossible that no one has discovered it until now, and then it was discovered by the Kingdom of Whirlpool. Ah, never mind. Uzumaki Mito shook her head. She was already half dead, so these things should be a headache for future people. She only hopes that while she is still alive, Konoha and the country of Whirlpool can re-establish friendly relations. Suddenly, she said, Nine Tails, what do you think about sealing you in a knife like that? Nine Tails, who was rejoicing to finally be able to see the outside world, was suddenly stunned and cursed angrily. You Mito, you actually crossed the river and burned the bridge. It's frustrating enough to have it sealed inside a human body, but at least I can't chat with Jinchuriki. This old witch actually wants to seal it into the cold knife. Then it really can only sleep every day, and it doesn't know what it feels like to be inside the sealed knife. But just thinking about it makes me shudder. Uzumaki Mito laughed and said, just kidding. But she was really thinking about it. Once it is feasible, Konoha will no longer have to keep Uzumaki Kushina, and it can avoid conflict with the country of Whirlpool. Nine Tails also has a home, and maybe he can cultivate a strong man like Shinigami of the country of Whirlpool. However, it is not that simple to implement it. Not to mention whether Nine Tails can really be stuffed in. The key is that there is no corresponding sealing technique. B. Can the Kingdom of Vortex provide technical support or help seal it? If Uzumaki Chihiro knew Uzumaki Mito's thoughts, he would only praise her for her good idea, and then completely deny her. Nine Tails can sense the difference in Zanpakuto simply because Zanpakuto is also a strange life form. That's right, life form. Each Zanpakuto has its own soul, thoughts and character, and is not just a weapon. Moreover, some Zanpakuto can even be embodied. Otherwise, if the Shinigami want to master Shikai and Bankai, why should they communicate with Zanpakuto? Therefore, Uzumaki Mito's conjecture is completely wrong. What's more, even if the Kingdom of Whirlpool has such technology, why should it help Konoha? Uzumaki Kushina is originally from the country of Whirlpool. Shimura Danzo, who is always paying attention to the battlefield at the root base, was shocked when he saw Senju Naoki's wood style. My heart instantly became hot, and the greed in my eyes overflowed. Shodai's wood style. The wood style that Konoha manuscripts couldn't reproduce no matter how much effort they put into it was actually reproduced in Senju Naoki. Of course, he also knows very well that this is not just the power of Senju Naoki. After all, it's Zanpakuto from the land of whirlpools. This kind of technology can only be mastered by Gen. Tsunade took a deep breath and said firmly, Naoki, I will definitely keep you. She closed her eyes and suddenly shouted, 100 healings mark. Boom. Violent chakra erupted from her body, sending the nearby ninjas into a tailspin. Tsunade's body was wrapped in blue chakra flames. Facing the wood style that her grandfather once suppressed the ninja world, she did not dare to be careless at all. I will handle the matter between our siblings by myself. If anyone dares to interfere, be careful that I am ruthless with my fists and kicks. She wants to wake up Naoki herself. Chapter 60 Sarutobi. I won't pretend anymore. Here comes Konoha Shinobi male ginseng. Buzzing. Tsunade's whole body was burning with blue chakra flames, and her blonde hair was flying in all directions due to the fluctuations of chakra. To describe it in the words of Uzumaki Chihiro, who works as a monitor, it is like the ninja version of Super Saiyan. Okay, it's not the golden light you're risking. Tsunade's beautiful eyes reveal determination. Even if she faced Wood Style, whose grandfather once suppressed the ninja world, she did not flinch. What's more, in Grandpa's hands, Wood Style can suppress the ninja world. But in Naoki's hands, that's not necessarily the case. Tsunade clenched his fist, and the crisp bones suddenly crackled. She said in a deep voice, Naoki, don't think that just because you have awakened Wood Style, you can show off your power in front of your sister. Senju Naoki scratched his head, is there something wrong with this woman? Who is your brother? He has said it so many times, why can't he listen? At this moment, the corner of Tsunade's mouth suddenly curled up, the blue chakra flame flashed, and the whole person instantly turned into an afterimage. When he appeared again, he was already in Senju Naoki's lifetime. Tsunade stared, and struck down with a powerful kick from top to bottom without mercy. Call. A violent roar resounded from above. My feet hurt. Just as he hit Senju Naoki in the back, the trees on Zanpakuto grew wildly and quickly condensed into a shield behind him. Boom. A dull sound exploded over Konoha. Tsunade hit the wooden shield with his kick, his expression did not change at all, and he did not seem to feel sorry for the failure of the attack. She suddenly grinned and mocked. That's it. Grandpa's Wood Style, is this how you use it? Under Senju Naoki's slightly surprised look, Tsunade increased the strength and chakra on his thighs. Creaking. The wooden shield made an overwhelmed sound. Suddenly, the wooden shield made a subtle clicking sound, then cracked quickly, and finally exploded with a bang. Boom. With wood chips flying everywhere, Tsunade's kick finally broke the wooden shield and hit Senju Naoki hard. There was a bang, and the ground made a heavy sound. The paved stone road instantly formed a pit under the impact of Tsunade's power, and smoke and dust rose everywhere. Senju Naoki, who held the Wood Style, was defeated by Tsunade, leaving everyone present stunned. There seemed to be a crack in my heart that could not be broken. No, as expected of Tsunade-sama. What's wrong with Wood Style? Tsunade-sama is also the granddaughter of first Hokage-sama. It is natural for a sister to beat her brother. As expected of Tsunade-sama, who holds the title of Konoha Sannin. The last words reached the ears of Tsunade and Orochimaru, making their faces darken. Sarutobi Hiruzen was relieved to see Tsunade Dafa Kamui. It seems that the wood style mastered by Senju Nawaki may not be as outrageous as Shodai. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Nawaki's wood style is not proficient enough. Almost all Konoha shinobi who witnessed this violent kick believed that Senju Nawaki must have been severely injured. Only the country of Whirlpool remained unmoved. Especially Ichimaru Jin, who taught Senju Nawaki, had an even bigger smile on his face. Don't underestimate Nawaki. Everyone was suddenly shocked when they heard Ichimaru Jin's words. Only then did they realize that even though Nawaki was hit hard by Tsunade's painful kick, they didn't feel the slightest bit worried. Could it be? No. Impossible. Even Master Jiraiya, who is also one of the Sannin, would need to stay in Konoha Hospital for several months after receiving such a blow from Master Tsunade. They had seen this kind of thing many times in Konoha, so they were confident in Tsunade-sama's strange power. But the parties involved did not share their confidence. With the powerful sister Tsunade, I finally vented some unhappy emotions. But obviously, she also understood that that one blow alone could not do anything to Nawaki. She doesn't trust Nawaki's ability, but she trusts her grandfather's wood style. Sure enough, when the smoke cleared, Senju Nawaki's intact appearance appeared in front of everyone. Under him, a giant hand made of wood lifted him up, protecting him from any harm. Oh, it's so scary. I feel like I almost died. Senju Nawaki patted his chest, looking frightened. If you were hit by that blow just now, your internal organs would probably be shattered. But, my Zanpakuto will never be inferior to anyone else. After finishing his words, Senju Nawaki waved his Zanpakuto in Tsunade's direction. Arrest her, Washuji. Tsunade's expression suddenly changed, and the entire land of Konoha shook as if an earth dragon was surging. What happened? The sudden change made everyone panic and at a loss. Seeing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen gave an order. Gather chakra to the soles of your feet and try to maintain your body shape. As if they had a backbone, the Konoha shinobi followed Master Hokage's instructions one after another. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Senju Nawaki solemnly, a little worried that he could have such a big impact on Konoha with just a wave of his hand. Orochimaru frowned and whispered, "Something is coming." Tsunade frowned, feeling suddenly panicked, and followed his instinct and left the place. Boom. Almost instantly, where Tsunade was originally, a huge hand covered with flowers, plants and trees came out of the ground. Sarutobi Hiruzen exclaimed when he saw the giant hand. Is it Shodai's Kakuin entering Kwang Shisho? Kuoin enters Kwang Shisho. Tsunade shook her head. She had seen the wood-style ninjutsu scroll left by her grandfather. Although the form of this giant hand is very similar to that of Kwang Kui's hand, its use and effect are completely different. On the contrary, it is a bit like the violent ninjutsu of the one-handed top Buddha. Before Tsunade could think seriously, a giant hand of the same size broke out of the ground again under his feet. A trace of shock flashed in Tsunade's eyes, and he subconsciously blocked his arms in front of him, and with a bang, he was immediately pulled out by his hand. Boom. Tsunade's body hit a stone tile house, which collapsed instantly and raised dust. Tsunade-sama. When other ninjas saw this, they became worried. It seems that Kunshao is indeed difficult to deal with. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. Ahem. Tsunade's coughing sound could be heard in the smoke. She crawled out from under the collapsed tiles. Her body was covered in dust, and there was a trace of blood flowing from the corner of her mouth. She looked a little embarrassed. There is a faint hint of green rising in the blue chakra flame. The curse lines on his forehead were enlarged due to the release of the 100 healings mark. This wood style seems to be much more flexible than the wood style recorded by my grandfather. She recovered from her injuries silently, thinking about the information about wood style left by her grandfather. Fortunately, Nawaki seems to have just awakened not long ago, and his use of wood style is still very rough. Fortunately, there is still room for maneuver. Although she was embarrassed, her sister's majesty could not be lost. Tsunade wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and mocked. Wood style is such a powerful ninjutsu, but you are using it so crudely. You should go home with your sister and let her teach you how to use wood style correctly. Tsunade is not just talking, her ultimate goal is to save Nawaki. Let Nawaki recall her memories. But obviously, Senju Nawaki did not know Tsunade's good intentions. Maybe, even if he knew, he didn't care. In his mind, he is a citizen of the kingdom of Whirlpool. Senju Nawaki's expression gradually became cold. This woman is so annoying. She keeps telling him to go home. Go home. Where is home? How can he not be clear about it? His home is in the kingdom of Whirlpool. He had had enough of this woman's gibbering. You don't think that I can only control one hand at a time in the flower and tree world, do you? What? Hearing Nawaki's words, I was inexplicably surprised. Boom boom boom. The underground of Konoha suddenly collapsed, and giant hands holding up the sky broke out of the ground. Tsunade's eyes widened. 1, 2, 3. A total of 9 giant hands waved in the sky, completely blocking the light from the setting sun and plunging Konoha into darkness. Gudong. The Konoha shinobi practitioners looked at this apocalyptic scene and couldn't help but feel weak on their souls and their eyes were dull. This kind of ninjutsu. How can I solve it? Sarutobi Hiruzen's pupils shrank suddenly, and he could no longer maintain his apparent calmness. Quick, use fire style to attack those giant hands. His eyes widened, as if he couldn't believe it. Naoki looked like he was really going to kill Tsunade. The other ninjas panicked for a while, but after receiving the instructions from Master Hokage, they quickly formed the seals in an orderly manner and released the ninjutsu. Fire style fire bomb. Fire style great fireball technique. Fire style. All kinds of flames flew towards the 9 giant hands, but when they hit the giant hands, they were like tiny sparks and had no effect. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and quickly formed seals with his hands. Fire style Howlong fire technique. A huge fire dragon spit out from Sarutobi Hiruzen's mouth, and with a roaring sound, it flew towards the nearest giant hand. Boom. The fire dragon smashed into the giant hand, and soon a flame ignited, burning the giant hand. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes lit up and he immediately said, use fire style above B level. But this condition is obviously not something ordinary ninjas can achieve. The leader of the Uchiha clan was the first to respond, and he also fired the fire dragon technique and flew towards one of the giant hands. Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura also have one each. But soon, no one else can unleash the high-level fire-style ninjutsu. The remaining Hyuga clan leader and most of the others are from secret arts families, and do not have many grandmaster ninjutsu with other attributes. Moreover, Senju Naoki did not give them another chance to consume the flower and tree world. The remaining giant hands came from all directions, blocking all Tsunade's escape routes. But obviously, Tsunade wasn't planning to run this time either. She just waited quietly, as if she had accepted her own death, and her lips moved slightly, as if she was saying something. Please give me flowers. Senju Naoki frowned and read what she said through lip reading. Naoki, are you really going to kill your sister? Senju Naoki shook his head and said, even now, I still say these ridiculous things. Zanpakuto waved lightly, and the giant hand that received the order smashed down ruthlessly. Boom. The nearby buildings were instantly shattered by the terrifying impact. The rising air waves made everyone's clothes whistle, and their cheeks were hurt by the biting wind. Everyone stared blankly in the direction where the giant hand hit, with dull expressions. Tsunade-sama, one of the Konoha Sannin, died like this. Almost everyone cannot and does not want to accept this fact. Senju Naoki was also stunned for a moment, and seemed to feel his heart suddenly aching. For a moment, but I don't know why. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes were lowered, and no one could see his expression, as if he was no longer grieving for the sacrifice of his beloved disciple. Only Orochimaru looked expressionless and didn't seem to feel sad for Tsunade. His eyes flashed slightly and he whispered, as Konoha's medical master, Tsunade, how could he die? Everyone was immersed in sadness, but only he saw the flash of green before the giant hand fell. Don't forget, they Sannin are all contractors of the 3-day Holy Land. And Tsunade's summoning beast is the Katsuyu Sage who combines healing and defense. With Katsuyu Sage here, it would be difficult for Tsunade to die. But he couldn't understand why Tsunade would engage in such a drama. Is it for Naoki? But it's a pity that Naoki Shihei has not changed much because of your death. This is the price. Senju Naoki returned to the team. Rukia Kuchiki's eyes flashed slightly, and she issued an ultimatum to Sarutobi Hiruzen. The show is over, let's hand over Uzumaki Kushina. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen still wanted to say something, but it was obvious that Rukia Kuchiki no longer wanted to talk nonsense with him. He drew his sword and pointed at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and said coldly, since Konoha doesn't know what to do, let us do it ourselves. Asterisk. Do it. Sarutobi Hiruzen, can you listen to people speak properly? Hado 33. Blue fire pendant. A cold voice suddenly sounded, and blue explosive flames suddenly struck from behind him. Sarutobi Hiruzen was suddenly shocked, as if he had no time to react, and was hit by the blue fire drop. But Byakuya Kuchiki suddenly looked in another direction. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood quietly wearing the robe of the third Hokage, looking at him with deep eyes. But the figure hit by the Kengwo suddenly turned into a puddle of quagmire. Earth clone. Byakuya Kuchiki said expressionlessly. Captain of the 6th Division, Byakuya Kuchiki, I will be your opponent next. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked around. The Shinigami were already fighting with Konoha's ninjas. He took a deep breath, and his eyes suddenly became sharp. I wanted to have a peaceful discussion with you, but what I got in return was indifference. After saying this, he pulled off the Hokage God's robe, revealing a battle uniform. He stops pretending. Here comes Konoha Shinobi male Ginseng. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Countless shurikens were fired at Byakuya Kuchiki densely. Scatter. Senbon Sakura. The long knife in Byakuya Kuchiki's hand suddenly looked like a withered flower, with pink sakura petals falling down. As Byakuya Kuchiki waved the hilt, Sakura's petals rushed towards the shuriken as if being guided. A dodge. There was a crisp sound of metal collision. Almost all shurikens were accurately intercepted by Sakura petals. Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes slightly. It was indeed the same as what was recorded in the intelligence. Captain of the 6th Division of the Kingdom of Whirlpool. Holding a knife can suddenly send a message and turn it into pieces of Sakura petals, but the Sakura petals are suspected to be a means of killing enemies, and the specific effect is unknown. According to Sarutobi Hiruzen's first trial, these Sakura petals are obviously not real flower petals, but more like blades. Judging from the situation of Hanzo of the Salamander, this guess is the most reasonable. Sarutobi Hiruzen breathed a sigh of relief. As long as you know the enemy's intelligence, there is no way you can't defeat the enemy. What's more, He already knew Byakuya Kuchiki's information, but Byakuya Kuchiki didn't know anything about him. The advantage is his. Just try to defend those Sakura flowers during the battle. As long as those Sakura flowers are away from him, Byakuya Kuchiki, who has lost his sword, will only be beaten passively once he gets close to him. After learning Byakuya Kuchiki's intelligence, Sarutobi Hiruzen quickly formulated a combat strategy. First, you must find a way to resist the attack of those Sakura flowers. Sarutobi Hiruzen curled his lips and said that the matter of defense could only be left to the monkey demon. The ape demon possesses an indestructible body and is a master of defense. He bit his thumb lightly and formed a seal with his hands. Summoning technique. With a bang, the white mist dispersed, and a white-haired ape wearing armor appeared with his arms crossed. We have to fight side by side again, old fellow corpse.